Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Android BGMS Master Series Season 3, powered by Carnival. I'm going to be a host in Caster Necro. John alongside with me on the panel this time is going to be Scared Yet. And Shai Shanu, we know how things were back in Season 2, where there were just 1 point separating the champion team. This time in Season 3, we have went through a lot of those changes.
True, I'm really excited to see how it's going to move forward, right? Because the value of that 1 point, the humongous money that you lost, but more than that, the bragging rights, the trophy, it carries a lot of weightage, and I'm going to be really excited to see, since you mentioned about the changes. We've seen so many, right? Roster shuffles, team changes. I'm super excited.
I mean, this year has been incredible. Let's be honest. When it comes to BGMI, when it comes to the pro circuit, it's been incredible. I mean, so far, there's been 2 seasons, and we're already at the Season 3. That in itself is just unbelievable. Knowing the fact that there have been so many changes in the roster, still the defending champions, they stay the same, but they're back with a new name.
Absolutely, you're talking about MOGO right there. I'm pretty excited to see how they're going to move forward as well, because yes, the roster has been sticking together, but there have been some fumbles in their performances recently as well. Like 2023 was their dream year. 24 has not been in the exact same storyline for them, but I'm excited to see what new thing can they bring in the new season of BGMS.
And speaking of new things, man, trust me when I say this, the stage, it looks perfect. It looks beautiful. I mean, this time it's quite a different theme, so you gotta say it's a royal theme, that's for sure, right? The players, they were looking quite confident as well, moving it forward. And this time, even the format, it's a little bit spicy.
True, and you've mentioned about the format itself. I'm really excited. I want to give some spoilers out there for the people. You must know that it's so much points grabbing thing that you can do. I'm again very excited to see that, but again, before we move forward to that, as you were already mentioning about quite a lot of those teams and changes as well, right? Remember the previous time second team OG?
Oh yeah.
They are doing very good.
And you know what, speaking of the format itself, we've got the opening week, which is going to be starting from today itself, and that's going to be lasting till 21st July. 24 teams will be playing, from which 20 teams were invited, and 4 teams have qualified in from the qualifiers itself. Bottom 6 teams will be put into audience choice. That means their fate now lies in the hands of the audience.
Absolutely. 2 teams will be brought back and revived by that audience, and they will move forward with the 18 qualified teams to move in the league week, lasting from 22nd July to 4th August, and all of them will compete. Top 4 will qualify directly for the finals, while 5th to 20th team, that is the 16 teams, will play in the playoffs.
I mean, just imagine this, right? The top 4 teams just directly moving into the grand finals. Such a major leap. But then the remaining teams, they don't just get disqualified yet, or they don't just get eliminated yet. They're instead going to play the playoffs, where you can't say it's like the revival week, a chance for them to bounce back once again. But from there, only a few teams will have a chance to move in forward, right?
And you've already mentioned about the few teams, it will only be 16. So the last 4 will be eliminated yet again. And then we'll have all the teams qualified, right? Only 12 teams out of them will be qualified. We'll have 16 for the finals itself, which will be from 9th to 11th August.
Ooh, the grand finals. That's what matters the most. And that's where we'll be seeing the champions being crowned once again for the Season 3. Last time in Season 2, it was Gladiator Esports. This time, known as MOGO Esports. As I mentioned, the defending champions, they're back once again with a changed name. But still, the gameplay, the attitude, it seems quite the same.
Yes, I'm really excited to see how teams will change that a bit, because again, you know that there's quite a few things that always are the spices that are added in the dish of BGMS.
And you know, speaking of the spices itself, we've got the power play system in front of us, right? Squads rewarded with double points for each finish that they get in the first stage of the match. And after this, once again, it will be back to the basics. 1 single elimination will grant you just 1 point.
Absolutely, and you can basically rack up a few extra points as well if you're on the bottom of that table. You've got such a great opportunity to try and climb up those ranks.
Exactly, but then there's also a few more things that we'd like to touch upon, right? The power play is not just where it all ends. There's also the impact player. And that means a player will be chosen by the IGL of the team. He will be having a chance to nominate 2 players from his team at the weekends.
Absolutely, you mentioned about those weekends, and they will happen only in the league week. So you only technically have 4 days to do that. But yes, after you pick an impact player, every single finish that the impact player will bring for your team, it will be weighted as 2 points. You get double the points for every single frag the impact player makes.
So many possibilities can happen right here if the impact player manages to get the elimination in the first stage of the game itself. That means the power play is active. At the same time, the impact player is also getting those elimination points. That is super incredible. In general, the impact player as you mentioned, will have 4 days to play with. And in those 4 days, if he's able to happen or make happen a lot of this stuff, that means that can be a major leap for the team if they're not doing too good in the overall standings.
Absolutely true. But again, we have to have a look at the groups as well for all of these teams, right? And Necro, I know I was also talking with you about that. And apart from all these groups, Group C looks like such a big group of death.
I mean, 24 teams divided into 6 groups, and yeah, you said Group C seems like a group of death. Understandable, but then you cannot really take away from Group A as well. Team Limra, the new faces around the block. WSB, known as the powerhouse inside of the BGMI community. You've also got REVENANT Esports right there, a newer team that is upcoming and doing a lot of damage on the scene itself, and even Reckoning Esports. These guys have been incredible in the previous official tournaments.
Absolutely. But I also feel that quite a lot of the eyes will be definitely on Godlike as well as Soul. Now that's not just because they are very famous, but also because of the fact that Godlike have had a new addition. They kind of needed a bit of a supporter, and they've got Punk as their supportive role. So I'm pretty excited to see what they're going to bring on the table.
Jelly's going to be eye-chilling. You've also got a new addition, Punk, and Godlike and TZ. They're going to be like the fan favorites inside of this entire tournament, right? Even Soul's going to be there, nothing taken away from that. But then once again, if these guys don't really manage to qualify in from the league week itself to the future stages, or from the opening week to the league week itself, then the audience will pretty much going to be voting for these teams, right?
Yeah, that's basically you having audience as the 6th member for yourself out there, apart from the 5 roster and the 4 in-game playing players, right? But yeah, you really do not want to put yourself in that situation, because you would be with quite a lot of those teams as well. They will be total 6 after all, so you don't really want to take your chances in there. You might really just want to, qualify with the firepower that you've got.
So pretty much in the opening week itself, being a fan favorite can actually grant you so many advantages, right? If you do not really manage to place yourself in the top 18, and if you're there in the remaining 6 teams, then one thing is for sure, the audience will choose you because you are the fan favorite. So luckily enough for these known names, they don't really have to face through a lot of the prompts. Before, the newer teams like Team Limra that we just saw, REVENANT Esports that we just saw, even Reckoning Esports, these faces, they're quite new on the block. Even REVENANT Esports, they've got some newer players on the block as well.
I agree. You mentioned about that, and people have been questioning Sensei a lot as to how and when is he actually going to lift one of his major trophies out there, right? And this is like one of his best opportunities to try and do that with an entirely new lineup that he's got. All the 4 players, one of them is super experienced, 3 of them, they've also got a decent bit of experience, but at the same time, the firepower is going to be impeccable.
It will be impeccable, right? The newer players, the young blood, the boiling blood that we call. That's what the young players bring in. They bring in that aggression inside of the gameplay, and they always are the frontliners of the team. And they always do really tend to head-on rush against a fight, right? But we cannot really take away from Team Limra. This itself, they have had their debut inside of the pro circuit, and Team Limra, they have astonished all of us with their capability, with their tactical maneuvering inside of the battlegrounds. They have been incredible.
I mean, the IGL Gokul has basically been called a prodigy multiple times in these situations. So I really want to see what new things he's going to do right now in BGMS, because this is like one of the biggest stage where he can also prove himself and get that big glory, that big shining trophy. I'm telling you, Necro, that trophy is beautiful. But at the same time, one more thing that I also feel is beautiful is, of course, the lineup of the runner-up of previous time. That's going to be Orangutans.
Oh, even they have went through some big changes, right? For OG, I mean, the last time they just missed out on the trophy with 1 point, and they were so disappointed. We saw them crying outside. It makes a lot of sense too, right? Because that 1 point costed them that 1 crore rupees, and also the bragging rights. That was such a big difference right there. But this time, OG once again back with a vengeance in their mind. Can they actually get it done? That's the real question. They have went through some tweaks recently, so I'm not sure if they've had enough time to grind it out.
That is a big question, right? Because the addition of Aru and Atanki, yes, understandable. Ash's IGL was a bit more different, how it normally used to be, dropping down towards ferry pairs, splitting in with 1, so that if the circle forms on any of the island, be it the main island or the military base island, you can rotate anywhere. You've got both the areas covered. But
pretty much
now Aru's IGLing is going to be a big question as to how the apes are going to play and move forward.
And not just that, even WSB is quite an interesting prospect, right? But speaking of the day itself, we've got the schedule off the day 1 of the opening week, and we're going to kick things off with Erangel, in which Group A, B, C, and D are going to be participating, and then it's out of match 2. It's going to be Miramar played. Erangel, Miramar, 2 of the most competitive maps that the competitive pool has to offer, and we're going to kick things off with those those two maps.
I mean, if you talk about experience, these teams have got a load of experience out there on both of these maps. You know, there's a fun fact. You know, I heard quite a few players out there also saying that they're pretty glad that there's no Vikendi being included in either of them. Understandable, you would not want to play on that map. It's so slow.
I mean, Vikendi, yeah, the start is quite slow, but then later on, it just astonishes us with all the action that is there, right? And you can also go for the med strat outside of the zone. That's like the confirmed points that you're getting. But BGMS, it really forces these players to go aggressive in the stage 1 because it's going to grant you double the points. And why would you not want to grab on the opportunity?
Absolutely true. And in the meantime as well, I would want to know, Necro, who do you think will be the team that would actually step on that gas and play super aggressive out there in the early power plays?
That's a little bit too early in my opinion, right? But I would like to go with WSP, the newer name on the block, and I really do believe these young guns, they do pack a lot of punch. But what do you think?
I agree with your point as well, because WSP, they have been known for being on that aggressive as well. But at the same time, I kind of want to lean in a bit more towards the third-party king, FS Esports as well. Maybe we might see them going a bit more aggressive than the other teams, because let's be honest, all the big names, they try to keep up with their normal default style.
Oh, but you know what? We have spoken so much about the teams and the tournament. For now, it's time to take a stop from all that blabbering. So let's move on to a short break.
What's up, everyone? Come on in.
I got 100 ways that I could make you look. You cannot read me, I ain't no page in a book. But there's 100 ways that I could make you look.
Wow.
Make you look.
Wow.
Look, make you look.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Another day, another road, and we go. A ride with a win, moving up, we know where to begin. Wicked on the wheels, get wicked on the wheels. On a ride we go. Wicked on the wheels, get wicked on the wheels. Another day, another road, and we go.
To live your life the way you want. Compete like the toughest challenger. Dance like there's no tomorrow. Celebrate every second you are alive. Life has no rule books, but we can give you a stage.
What's the worst that could happen? What's the best that could happen? Philips One Blade. Move fearlessly. Innovation and you. Philips.
Everywhere I go, dirt and pollution dull my skin.
Garnier Turbo Bright Double Action Face Wash. 2x brightening power. With charcoal and vitamin C, deeply cleanses dirt and pollution to fight dullness for instantly bright skin. Garnier Turbo Bright Double Action Face Wash. Try the #1 men's face wash in India. By Garnier Men.
Red Bull gives you wings.
そんな場所だ。全部壊してみっか。俺は塔のてっぺんに登るんだ。
Red Bull gives you wings.
Everywhere I go, dirt and pollution dull my skin.
Garnier Turbo Bright Double Action Face Wash with charcoal and vitamin C. Deeply cleanses dirt and pollution for instantly bright skin. Try the #1 men's face wash in India. Garnier Turbo Bright Double Action Face Wash by Garnier Men.
Wow. Circle to search. Only on Android.
To live your life the way you want. Compete like the toughest challenger. Dance like there's no tomorrow. Celebrate every second you are alive. Life has no rule books, but we can give you a stage.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to a new season of daily BGMI action. This time with even more competition. This time with even more comedy. With a lot more jaw-dropping moments. And also a few that many would want to forget. And for the first time ever, enjoy BGMI Master Series with Android. Welcome back to the biggest ever BGMI Carnival on national TV.
एक साल 52 हफ्ते 365 दिन कहने को तो सिर्फ कैलेंडर चेंज है, लेकिन देश के सबसे बेहतरीन बीजीएमआई प्लेयर्स के लिए ये इंतजार रहा है लंबा और काफी मुश्किल। हमने अब तक 2 सीजन्स देखे हैं। पहले में ग्लोबल की जीत हुई, दूसरे में दबदबा दिखा ग्लैडिएटर्स का। लेकिन क्या ये फेवरेट्स थे व्हेन दे स्टार्टेड द टूर्नामेंट? बिल्कुल नहीं। बट वर दे द वेरी बेस्ट? एब्सोल्युटली यस। कई लोगों का कहना है दैट ई स्पोर्ट्स इज द नेक्स्ट बिग थिंग। गलत कहते हैं, झूठ कहते हैं, बिकॉज ई स्पोर्ट्स इज द करंट बिग थिंग। और शायद इसलिए पिछले 1 साल में नई दोस्तियां देखने को मिली हैं, कुछ पुराने रिश्ते टूटे हैं और इस माहौल में बहुत सारी उथल पुथल हुई है। Here we are at a brand new Colosseum, जहां पे सारे योद्धा जो हैं वो तैयार हैं। लेकिन सबसे जरूरी, इस दुनिया में सब एक दूसरे को जानते हैं, लेकिन 11 अगस्त को टीम वही जीतेगी जिनका विल उनके स्किल से कई ज्यादा होगा, कई ज्यादा बढ़कर होगा। सो लेडीज एंड जेंटलमैन, स्वागत है आपका नॉर्डविन अरीना में, जहां पे हम हमारे इस ब्रांड न्यू कॉलोसियम में जंग का वो मंच जो है वो तैयार कर चुके हैं। ये है वो चमचमाती ट्रॉफी, इंतजार होता है खत्म। ये रही वो 24 टीमें जो तैयार हैं इन बैटल ग्राउंड्स पर राज करने के लिए। They are the young guns of the community and they have made their presence felt loud and clear. Give it up for One Blade. Pukar has already won land trophy under his belt this year. Will he be able to repeat the feat in BGMS? new band of warriors under a new name, but Shadow is leading his team. Will they have a mark on this tournament with dominance? They've come a long way from the qualifiers, but will they be able to keep their momentum running on the stage? Here is Viking Esports. Faces that can be seen on this roster have been regularly consistent in this tournament. Ladies and gentlemen, here is WSB Gaming. A lot of responsibility on the shoulders of Clutch God as he needs to tame his little tigers if they have to taste victory. Here come the Gujarat Tigers. They are the oldest names in the community, and this team will be looking to further their legacy. Welcome the prestigious Team Tamilas. If their fate is as beautiful as their rotations, this team might surprise everyone, and that is something unexpected. Here is Raven Esports. Is the dream team that will be lifting the shining trophy led by Sensi. Here is Revenant. After coming second and third, can Ash finally lift the Curse and Leaders team to victory? Here is Team Forever. This team is resilient, stubborn, and never back out from any conflict. Here they come. Here is God's reign. They know the taste of championship glory. With hotshot players under their belt, this lineup is sure to dominate every lobby and feel that energy. Here are Global Esports. This arena has been difficult for this team, but these fallen warriors will be looking for redemption. Here is Entity. They missed the trophy by a point last time, and it was just sheer heartbreak. Will this new army of apes get third time lucky? Here is Team Orangutan. Consistency is their middle name. Can they come back this time around and cross the final hurdle? Here is 8-Bit. Hector has huge shoes to fill, but his fans will be surely backing the lineups as he brings out Carnival Gaming. Gentlemen, Scout OP is looking to show the new guns what a veteran can do when he is presented with a challenge. Here is Team Z. This best BGMI team in the country at the moment has a target on their back. It's none other than Team X-Spark. One of the biggest names in the country. A lot of hearts beat with this name. Are you ready for Team Soul? And a team that needs no introduction in the country. It's the one, it's the only, it's Team Godlike. They are the reigning, defending champions. They've got a new name. Here come MOGO Esports. दो टीमें इस लम्हे को कैद कर लीजिए. Have you guys gotten over what happened last year? AQOP.
हाँ, एक पॉइंट से इनने हमारी ट्रॉफी ले गए थे. याद है मुझे अच्छे से.
Okay, Robin, first up, good to have you here. हम दिन की शुरुआत कर रहे हैं, हम इस टूर्नामेंट की शुरुआत कर रहे हैं. Defending champions, right? वो एक बहुत बड़ा प्रेशर टैग होता है. लेकिन पीछे जितने भी लड़के हैं, they're all under the impression कि इस बार तुम लोग favorites नहीं हो. How do you tackle that?
ठीक है, चलता है. टीम अंडर एस्टिमेट कर रही है, चलता है. बट एक चीज़ कहना चाहूँगा, शेर जब शिकार करने निकलता है तो जंगल में शांति हमेशा होती है. तो ये याद रखें.
Shots fired already. Okay, Orangutan, वो जो एक पॉइंट से तुम लोग हारे थे, everybody remembers that. वो लम्हे जो हैं उसको हम कभी नहीं भूल सकते हो. ये जो एक साल की तुम्हें तैयारी का मौका मिला है, what has changed? किस सोच के साथ अब उतरोगे इस तीसरी बार टूर्नामेंट में?
लास्ट टाइम थोड़ा सा एग्रेशन कम बढ़ गया था, इसलिए वो एक पॉइंट से ये ट्रॉफी ले गए. बट इस टाइम हमारा आईजीएल भी मारता है, तो एग्रेशन में तो कोई कमी नहीं है. मुझे लग रहा है कि हम 3-2-1 करने ही आए यहाँ पे.
रुक जाओ, ये लाइनअप की बात कर रहे हैं. भाई तुमने तो पूरा लाइनअप जो है वो बिल्कुल सेम रखा है. डेस्ट्रो इज नोन एज द ट्रॉफी मैग्नेट. लेकिन एक साल में ट्रॉफी जो है उसका सूखा रहा है. हाउ यू वांट टू चेंज दैट?
वही है, हमने हाई टाइम साथ में देखा है, साथ में ट्रॉफी लिफ्ट अप करी है. ये स्टेज हमारा है, तो वही है. अब जैसे डाउनफॉल हमारा जैसे चल रहा है, साथ में उठेंगे और साथ में वापस ये जो मैदान है हम जीत के जाएंगे.
तुमने अपने आईजीएल की बात की थी, ऐश याद है. लेकिन आरू जो है वो आईजीएल barely 10-15 दिन हुए. यू वुड हैव लाइक्ड मोर टाइम ताकि तुम उनकी लीडरशिप में थोड़ा सा अडेप्ट कर जाओ, राइट?
लास्ट टीम के साथ तो बहुत सारे पोडियम फिनिश किए, बट उनका साथ यही तक के था. अब न्यू टीम, न्यू आईजीएल, सिनर्जी बनाने का टाइम थोड़ा कम मिला. बट आई एम वेरी कॉन्फिडेंट कि हम इस साल #2 का कर्स ब्रेक करेंगे.
Alright, Orangutan, MOGO, the finalists from last year. लेकिन now it is game time. स्वागत है आपका एक बार फिर से Android BGMS Master Series Season 3 में. ब्रेक और उसके बाद we are on.
Wow. Circle to search. Only on Android.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Time to test the waters. Tell me how you wanna leave. Now you hear me roll like raw in my beastly mode now. Wow. Wicked unleashed. That's wicked. All the cuts and the curves. So wicked. Take what you deserve. It's wicked.
TVS Raider. Unleash your wicked.
Red Bull gives you wings.
そんな場所だ。全部壊してみっか。俺は塔のてっぺんに登るんだ。
Everywhere I go, dirt and pollution dull my skin.
Garnier Turbo Bright Double Action Face Wash. 2x brightening power. With charcoal and vitamin C, deeply cleanses dirt and pollution to fight dullness for instantly bright skin. Garnier Turbo Bright Double Action Face Wash. Try the #1 men's face wash in India. By Garnier Men.
To live your life the way you want. Compete like the toughest challenger. Dance like there's no tomorrow. Celebrate every second you are alive. Life has no rule books, but we can give you a stage.
What's the worst that could happen? What's the best that could happen? Philips One Blade. Move fearlessly. Innovation and you. Philips.
そんな場所だ。全部壊してみっか。俺は塔のてっぺんに登るんだ。
Red Bull gives you wings.
Everywhere I go, dirt and pollution dull my skin.
Garnier Men Turbo Bright Double Action Face Wash with charcoal and vitamin C deeply cleanses dirt and pollution for instantly bright skin. Try the #1 men's face wash in India. Garnier Men Turbo Bright Double Action Face Wash by Garnier Men.
What's up, everyone? Come on in.
I got 100 ways that I could make you look. You cannot read me, I ain't no page in a book. But there's 100 ways that I could make you look.
Wow.
Make you look.
Wow.
Look, make you look.
To live your life the way you want. Compete like the toughest challenger. Dance like there's no tomorrow. Celebrate every second you are alive. Life has no rule books, but we can give you a stage.
Wow. Circle to search. Only on Android.
Welcome back once again to Android's BGMI Master Series Season 3, powered by Garnier Men. And now, as we're back once again inside of the Season 3, we've got our mobility partner, TVS Radar. Once again, it's not just all about looks. There is a Smart Connect version with 99 connected feature. And guess what? It apparently comes with a 5-inch TFT screen. Isn't that super wicked?
It indeed is, man, and honestly, its wickedness matches that of AKOP at this point because, I'll be honest, man has been switching up the looks every single season of BGMS.
I mean, change is important in life, and that's why AKOP is not just change its look. Also, there's been a major roster change in their playing forward, too. It's not just them. Some of the big names as well have went through some big changes, too.
Absolutely.
You just saw S-Power in a complete different lineup, while in the past he was playing for Soul.
Absolutely, and I really want to see how it's gonna work around with the Carnival Gaming because, again, I don't really feel if they've had enough practice time. But at the same time, I think so these people have been scrimming so much that they technically know how the other one plays. But yes, it definitely comes down to those micro decision makings to try and work around specifically in those clutch situations.
I mean, speaking of the clutch situations, you've got REVENANT Esports on the board. Sensei, the man leading the pack, and this time he can definitely feel all that burden. While you've got Team Entity, Somrush, this man is quite pumped up. But then you can see Aquanox, this man is quite locked in and loaded. Team Entity is another one of those teams that has went through a big change.
Absolutely, the four-finger prodigy Aquanox now being pulled into their roster as well. I want to see how much firepower will he bring onto the table as well, because everybody knows him to be such a solid player. In specifically if it's a 1v2, you know Aqua can pull it off. So I really want to see how that will pan out, but at the same time, most of the eyes will eventually be on MOGO. and
They
Global
definitely will be.
Esports.
Yeah, I mean, Global Esports, man, all the playing for quite the young lads, right? You've got Beast, you've got Ninja Boy, you've also got Slug in the playing for, and these four guys, they have been insane. And now that you've also added Arsalan, now I just want to see how this piece is going to be fitting inside of that puzzle. Global Esports in the past, they were playing under the leadership of Mavi, but now Mavi's not there. Global Esports, they've always been known for their aggression, and once again, they got to bring it inside of the BGMS because that is the only way you can claim that trophy.
And I think so, since probably it's going to be Ninja Boy who'd be trying to IGL the team, him being one of the top fraggers of not just a season, but a tournament, it's going to be amazing.
Exactly, and with that being said, the game one of this entire opening week begins now as the plane fly path starts all the way from Lipovka towards Georgiapol. This plane fly path is definitely tilted to the northern side, but if the teams do want to move down south, especially MOGO Esports, the defending champions themselves, this time back with a different name, it's going to be a tough stretch considering they like to go all the way down south towards Sosnovka military base.
Yes, that's one team, and also the other one that I'll be looking forward to would be Team Forever as well, if in case that's going to be the situation. But yeah, at the same time, you know, we've got a lot of teams out there, and the group of death is also a part of this entire opening matchup, right? Because there's Revenant, there's Orangutan, there's even Global Esports, Godlike, Carnival Gaming, you talk about Limra, WSB. It's gonna be such a power-packed group.
I mean, all the teams in here, they do pack a lot of that power. They do pack a lot of that punch.
True.
But you talk about some of the powerhouses that we're going to be looking out for. Global Esports, they have got to be one of those. Even God's Reign, another name that has been doing quite decent in the previous official tournaments that they have played. And now, once again, back inside of the Season 3, there's going to be a lot of the question marks. But at the same time, the Brain Frog might just be cleared up a little bit, considering the past performances. They have been quite good.
Yes, honestly, and I really feel like their past performances and experience would eventually work around in their favor, specifically if they still have that momentum being carried forward by them. Since again, there's a bit of a change in lineup, but not a massive change out there. So you still have almost all the players sticking up together, working around, and then eventually moving forward. But honestly, seeing how the flight part ended and with the way how everyone spread out around in this entire map, I don't think so we're going to see a lot of teams utilizing the fact that the power play is avoiding you some extra points, apart from the teams who are dropped down in Pochinki.
Oh yeah, with that being said, as you just brought up the point, now the power play is going to be active. Whichever team manages to grab any sort of eliminations in the first stage of the game itself, that will be doubled up. If you do get one elimination point, well, that's going to be doubled up in the stage 1. And there we go. Destro is the man to kick things off already. 2 points in the pocket secured.
What a beautiful start coming in, and VASISTA Esports, if I'm not wrong, facing their casualty. It's going to be pretty difficult for them to bring themselves back up right now, but at the same time, I was talking about the fight in the Pochinki as well, and that's exactly where we're also seeing the players. But look at that power play, how we actually saw that pick coming in. Maybe, wait a second, Sensei is down!
Oh, rough start for Revenant. This time, so many expectations are there from that lineup, but Revenant Esports a little bit scattered on the board. And Sensei is also going to be confirmed with that run over. Reckoning Esports off to a great start. 2 points already accumulated. That's going to give them such a big confidence booster in this game. And keep this in mind, this is also the first game of the day. But then you've got a complete new team, CarpeDiem. The name is quite new, but still some of the players playing in this team, they're quite the known players. They've got Fears, they've also got some of the more known players, known names in that entire lineup. So even that's going to be quite interesting. But then we cannot take anything away from Team X Park 2, which is currently in Yasna Poliana. And Team X Park this year has been their year. They have been igniting a lot of that fire. It's not just a spark anymore, it's a volcano.
I remember that. One of the most iconic pictures out there. Lifting of the trophy. Yes, I want to see how Ninja is going to perform in this one, because when it comes to the fragging potential, I reckon if there's anyone else apart from him who can eventually take down so many Goliaths out there. But since we're already talking about that, right, we're still seeing this kind of a stalemate situation between the teams down in the Pochinki, not really picking the fight up against the other side, but still just holding their fort, waiting for the other side to make any mistake.
And talk about the other side right now. I mean, already the opponents, they have faced some sort of a blow upon themselves.
Yep.
You've got Fierce, you've got Kamla Boy. CarpeDiem's not really feeling that great. While VASISTA Esports, even they received a major blow. And now just looking forward to pin down a team in the front, a little bit too far away. Unfortunately, the man does not really have a good scope. Try and eye that out. Shots taken. Does find the connection as well. Beautiful shutdown that was. And now Team Limra, they push off against the foes in the front. 8-bit Juicy. What a great shutdown that was. Taking both of them down. And just like that, it's going to be a squad wipe in the power play. That means 8 points already to kick things off.
What a lovely start coming in for the side of 8-bit, as you mentioned. And what a great play from Juicy. Definitely giving them a taste of their own medicine. Just firing them up, lighting them up with that S12K. And that's one of the reasons we are seeing a lot of players now preferring their shotgun over DBS being S12K.
I mean, it's been a while since the shotgun meta is going on. DBS, the only reason why we do not really see a lot of players prefer it over the S12K is because recently it received a nerf. And that's why the players really would just like to stick with the automatic shotgun. That's going to be the S12K. Because with DBS, the first pump and the second pump, now there's a bit of a delay, which has been extended with that nerf.
Yep.
But WSP once again on the screen. They've got the man advantage in this fight towards Pochinki. And knowing the fact that WSP, they're quite the aggressive bunch, but through these recent changes, they haven't really got enough time to try and adjust to them.
I would agree with you on that point. Plus, also I think so, again, since they've lost their members, the roster is not exactly the same. We used to think that this roster definitely has got the potential to pull up a championship, right? If I'm not wrong, in one of those previous tournaments, this is the team that actually got the most points in the entire league stages. So I'm really excited to see how the addition of Trigger as well, who was previously in Orangutan, is going to work around with this team and how they're going to showcase their performance, because potential is still here.
It indeed is there. I mean, for CarpeDiem, all the 3 players in that one single house shows the sign of discomfort.
True.
And then you've got one man, which is Pakar, way too far away from the pack, right?
I mean,
it's not too good of a stance, in my opinion, considering WSB, as I mentioned, they do pack a lot of that punch. They're the powerhouse in this fight. So let's see how the retaliation is going to look like from CarpeDiem.
Actually, Zeref has used up that nade, but only just forces CarpeDiem members to reposition. So they're kind of breaking up their silence now and making their presence known. And I think so this is a good opportunity for them to press their advantage. But at the same time, they've got to be worried about where Pokar might be playing from. He might be covering his team as well. So you can't really go in for a blind rush.
Yeah, stalemates. Not really a big fan of those. If you do want to go for these eliminations, if you do want to get a squad wipe in your hands, make sure it is inside of the stage 1 itself. Yep. Because then only the power play system will be active. It can be utilized to the fullest potential. So far, Team 8-bit is the only one who's able to capitalize and make the most of the power play. They've managed to get 8 points. Maybe WSB can be the second one. Maybe CarpeDiem can be the second one to do so. But so far, both these teams are quite hesitant in making that push happen.
Just a pixel off is what Zeref needs to take down Max, but that's exactly what he's not getting. And this is the quality of these players, and this is the level of them. They just know where the other team would be playing. They've been in the scene for such a long time that you get habitual of what the other person is trying to do. But at the same time, I want to talk a bit more about CarpeDiem as well, since we've already been mentioning about Pokar. But Fierce, man, the ex-Revenant player, the Clutch King, in which people would have eventually call him, because he made a name for himself in the entire 2023, picking up so many frags left, right, and center when you think that it'd be taken down.
I mean, just like his name, he performs that way. Oh, what a nade that was. Opener in the hands of gods. And now WSB, there we go, 2 points secured. Trying to make the most out of this power play, and now even Double Boy squad exposed with that Uzi. Unfortunately, he runs out of the magazine, and there we go, gets right down. WSB, they start things off on a fantastic note. 2 points already accumulated. And now CarpeDiem taken down with just a 2-man squad. This fight's not looking too great. They need to disengage from this fight, and that's what they're trying to do. Max Payne now might just be on the receiving end of things. Backs against the wall. Max Payne getting approached by the entirety of WSB. Utilities being tossed to try and clear out some of the angles. Max Payne at the top. Pokar still there in the back lines. A little bit separated from the pack. I'm not sure what Pokar can do, but at this point in time, the man's just got to play for his life. WSB with the man advantage. They know exactly where Max Payne is too, considering all the foot cues are being given away. A lot of damage dished out, and Max Payne, he can't fight back anymore.
And that's another point being grabbed up by WSB. Systematic dismantle, as you would always like to call it.
Oh, yeah.
Taking the first one down by that frag and then following it up. And lovely positioning coming in as well. I really thought Gamla might be able to get a pick out there, but...
Oh, exit frags. That's what he's looking out for. Gets the first one, also strikes down the second. Hold on, Bukar, the man can actually pull the fight back, but then there's a DBS in the front. One single shot can pump to the face, and that's going to seal the deal.
Just too many people out in front of him. He tried his level best, wanted to go in for a couple of confirmations as well, but this could have very well been possible, but he tried his level best. But wait a second, 2 shots being fired by SprayGod as well, trying to control it and gets the person low enough, but Sarang is one who's actually on the receiving end.
Team X Park. I mean, you've got the 4 players, unfortunately from which you can't say one is subtracted for now, as Sarang's knocked out. But keep this in mind, so far Team X Park, this year has been theirs. They have been looking really phenomenal. Team Orangutan, they're trying to fight against Goliath. Hopefully they can't beat the David. Because right now, OG, they haven't really gotten enough time to play with this roster, with this playing 4. And they're also struggling quite a bit when it comes to that driving aspect of the game. I think it's taken down way too low. Constant shots are being taken against OG. But looking towards IQOO Soul, you've got them being eliminated too from the game. Quite uncharacteristic of them.
WSB, what a play coming in from their side, but they do not have any time to rest whatsoever because there's another party, and I'm going to call it the first party because it's the Global Esports boys. Super aggressive on their approach as well.
16 points already accumulated by WSB at this point. They can't afford to just get taken out of the game, but still Zerif strikes the first down, but then the second one is taken down by his teammates. Good trades on the block, but then Global Esports, they are going to be the cleanup crew inside of Pachinki. They do wipe out every single person that stays in there, but then there's another third party from Reckoning Esports. At this point, it's the 5th party, and Reckoning Esports, they do knock on the doors of Global Esports. Every single person over here, they just want to have a little bit of a chance, a little bit of piece of that pie off the power play.
Absolutely. Only a few more seconds remaining if I'm not wrong. Just 22. They've got to make the best out of it as well. Ninja Boy, he's got his HP back up, but again, he's being chipped down to quite a low amount of HP. Immortal wants to go in, try and wrap around, but if he moves forward, he might be actually up in for a surprise from the other side.
But this is the main advantage of the power play. Look at WSB. They got eliminated so early inside of the game, but they still have 16 points. That's already a really good start. That's a fantastic start right there. It's completely fine. They can afford to get eliminated from this game. But now, Global Esports, with 3 eliminations, that means they've managed to secure 6 points so far. Not that bad of a start for Reckoning Esports. They've only gotten 2 points and still searching for a couple of more inside of Pachinki. I'm not sure how good this fight is going to be. It's better to just disengage and back away, in my opinion. You're going up against the powerhouse.
Pachinki has turned out to be such a ranked game at this point, which you normally hop into when you're playing BGMI. But yeah, at the end of the day, as there's a new circle shift coming in, just moving it over a bit more towards the western part, the southwestern you could really say. 8-bit are going to be super happy about it. They're up just a bit north of the Primorsk as well as the Ferry Pier. But again, we did not see Orangutan playing in over towards that part, right? We saw them on the other side. But at the same time, I think so Team X-Park and Revenant's rotation might clash up a little bit if they both decide to move in over towards the center.
I mean, you got to feel bad for Team Soul, though. They came in and they went out like they didn't even exist. And yeah, now Revenant Esports, so many things on their back. Global Esports, they finally do find one of the players. The Hunters are now getting hunted. As Reckoning Esports, they do lose out on that crucial player.
True. The Wolves can't really do much when there's a Pride of Lions against them.
But keep this thing in mind, that elimination was grabbed after the power play is done in the stage 2. So power play is no longer active anymore. Global Esports Beast just trying to do something to make sure that he's juking those shots.
Oh my god, the man was blocked by his own buggy out there. But yeah, an unfortunate loss for the side of Reckoning, but it's absolutely fine. They're still 3 men strong. They should be able to somehow control with the way how they've been playing and with the way how they've shown to play. This entire year has been actually pretty decent for their side, if you ask me. Maybe not the driving that much.
Yeah. I mean, at this point, the players are fighting demons in their head. So it makes a lot of sense. But I mean, still, you got to give it to WSB, man. They went out fighting. They went out delivering some heavy blows. 16 points already. That's magnificent, in my opinion. fine. You've been eliminated so early. It's completely okay. I mean, those 16 points in the overall standings, they're going to speak volume about this team's performance.
True.
This is exactly what I mean when I say WSB. They're the powerhouse. They're also the new name on the block.
Agreed.
Just like Team Limra and Raven.
Yes. I do wanted to highlight over that fact as well, because Limra, again, taking the fight against the members of 8-Bit, that was pretty harsh for their side, but with the way how they started that entire engagement, things definitely look that they might be able to close it out as well. But the answer from Juicy, that was just a bit more difficult for them to handle, and that's where the experience normally comes into the play.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like the fact how we've seen WSB just create havoc around the entire lobby, and this is the firepower that we used to see from this team, and we were talking about in the pre-game segment as well. But yes, at the same time, now there have been a couple of big names that have been kept quiet for the entire power play, and that's what I mentioned as well, specifically Godlike and Revenant.
I mean, for Godlike, it's a whole different conversation, man. That team hasn't been able to find success. It's been a while. It's really been a while. This team, they're even struggling to get any sort of podium finish in their hands of a tournament. So for Godlike, things haven't looking that great.
True.
But for teams like Revenant, maybe you can't say, yes, the past year was much more better compared to Godlike. But even Revenant, they can't do much better. And that's why we have seen those changes coming in the playing for.
I wanted to bring up that point as well, because both Revenant and Orangutan, they share almost the similar reputation of facing some struggles whenever it comes to those final few days. So how they're going to play now, how they're going to work around, it's going to be important for their side. But at the same time, again, we're seeing Godlike play like how Jelly wants their team to play, find a power position inside the circle, hold up, and when you find the best opportunity, just pounce on it, because you've got some insane firing power now with the addition of Punk as well. An insane supporter out there who also technically does a great job of filtering.
Definitely does. Looking at the circle itself, MOGO Esports quite distant from each other. I mean, you can see the 4 players right above Fairappear. You see Delta PG a little bit far away from the pack, just trying to scout things out. And then there's also Destro towards the compound. Godlike making some moves on the board too. They do realize now it's time to hunker up. Now it's time to move away a little bit.
They've got some godlike skins of the vehicles. That's something I would agree with.
Yeah, it definitely sounds quite nice, right? The engine's revving while they move.
Paganis, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree with your point as well, because again, this team has been struggling for the form. They really have got that firepower in them, but maybe just were lacking that final piece of the puzzle that Punk might pull in. But on the other side of the spectrum too, I want to see how those certain changes that have hit up Entity are going to work for them. But wait a second, VASISTA in the meantime, Wixky wanted to try and fire a few shots, connected a few of them, but just cannot find that last bullet into the skull.
Hold on, VASISTA Esports, they've managed to pin the player down. Hulk is out in the open. Raven Esports, not that good of a start. Now the man's starting to utilize the utilities. But are they going to be enough? The smoke's just going to be blocking the visual, not the bullets. They will still penetrate through. And constantly firing the shots, trying to find some sort of connections, but the find just isn't there quite yet. Godlike as well now, getting pounced on maybe by the players of OG. For Godlike, this might just not be that good of a fight, but then you see Admino, the man, trying to charge up forward and grab some information, and that's why the players of OG, they back away instantly.
Raven really want to pick a fight against every single team out there, right? Because if I'm not wrong, they just knocked out a player of Entity. And yes, in the meantime, when we actually saw, when we thought maybe a fight might brew up, we'd see the new Godlike into the action. That's when OG decided that, you know, it's not worth it. There's no power play right now helping them out. So just going to let go of that compound, not going to go for it. We'll try to find some other rotation, maybe moving in a bit more northern towards the map and then taking the entry from the north of Gatka. But at the same time, right, you still have a few teams, for example, Global Esports, who are still out moving towards the western part of the Pochinki, and then we'll take the entry from the northeastern part of the circle.
Entity. And at the crowns in the front. There is REVENANT Esports. 3 of the players in that same building. 1 man a little bit separated. And then when the fact that now they're just a 3-man squad, they need to make sure that they're tightening up the defense a little bit more.
I mean, they're still being fired upon a few shots, so you really need to be safe. Aqua Nox just jumps in. Will survive as of now, but again, how Entity going to move out of this situation is going to be a big, big question. I mean, I can't really wrap my head around the fact that WSB are still on the tabletop by eliminating those 8 early players in the power play. That's the strength of this team. And honestly, it's not just about them. All the other teams need to play aggressive as well, because let's be honest, 4 of these teams would not even get the opportunity to play 2 matches today. You only have just 1 game. You've got to either perform, or there would not be enough possibilities for you to try and capitalize on those early advantages. And because you don't really have any more games to fall back onto, but the fun fact is, you've got the power play, and then there would also be the impact player.
Yeah, that's going to come into play after a while. Before now, you've got Global Esports. Oh, challenging yet another fight. They've already managed to get 4 eliminations so far, and still quite thirsty for a couple of more. As they do pounce on top of the opportunity that is quite there in the front. OG, they might just be on the receiving end of things. That wall of death as well, it starts to move up. Outside the playing zone, this fight it is looking quite risky, but Slug, this man is still not backing away from that. Unfortunately, he gets knocked out. He just stepped in the lion's den. He needs to pay the price for that too. Global Esports, they're taking way too damage to pound themselves, and now you've also got OG pouncing on top of the opportunity that is there in the front. Global Esports, they're quite vulnerable. Even Beast is taken down, and just like that, with that one single utility, it's going to wipe out the entire existence of Global Esports.
Lovely nade coming in from Atanki, catching all the rest of the players from the side of the Apes. And from Global Esports, the Goliaths out there being taken down, brought to their knees. I really feel that it was a bit more overzealous out there in the early opening, where he just charged into an unknown territory, regardless of the fact that there could have been some more crossfires out there. So yeah, probably just a bit of lack of leash coming in, but it's absolutely fine. It's just the first game, but that's the thing. It is the first game. You only have 1 more after this one.
Yeah, I mean, looking at CG, they went through a big change. Hector's not the IGL anymore.
With the addition of S-Power,
oh yeah,
I would
my bad.
agree.
Omega is not the IGL anymore.
Yeah.
It is Hector. Hector's been the new IGL. Omega, this man has been leading this entire playing for such a long time. But now that Hector's going to be the one to IGL this team, he's going to be the in-game leader. I'm not sure how well he can fill up the shoes, but there's a reason why they came up with this entire change, right? So let's see if that works out well. Godlike once again starting to make the mistakes. This is the same mistake that they have been repeating in the past over and over again. And this happens once again in the Season 3.
I would agree, and again, Jelly is a bit ahead of the pack. He always tries to play in the situations where he wants to be the first one to try and scout out the area, and quite a lot of those times he gets picked off. But talking about being picked off, Aro is the one who's basically been brought down on his knees. So the Apes will have to get the revive back to get their IGL on their feet.
Orangutan, Aru's knocked out. The revival, it is there. I think he's trying to get the fallen man back upon his feet. Aru, it's all good in the hood for now.
True.
Godlike, though, they're taking a lot of damage upon themselves. It's not looking too fluid. I mean, just like the players, how they're moving fearlessly inside of the game, you can also move fearlessly with our Philips One Blade. Before now, yeah, it seems like there's a lot of fear in the eyes of the OG squad. That's why they just back away from this fight, knowing the fact that they've just dealt with such a massive firepower of Global Esports. They do not want to deal with Godlike as well.
I like the idea as well, because again, the Zone of Death will be following you up, blue zone. But wait a second, before that, there's another team who just want to join in the action as well. And at Minnow, he tries to run away, but the shot's being fired by Atanki. Will try and catch Jonathan down on his knees. Now that is a difficult spot if you're godlike.
Oh, but beautiful sprays from Atanki. Orangutan just camping out the edges, but then at Minnow, he strikes down the player. Gets the confirmation. Unfortunately for Team X Park, they have been eliminated from this game, but Team X Park, this time, yeah, they just stayed like a spark in the game one at least. OG still trying to make sure that Godlike is going to be sent back home, and that's what happens. Godlike sent back into the lobby where they belong. And now for CG, considering they're taken down with a 3-man squad, 1 man is suppressed, that is Hector. The IGL's knocked out for now. CG, they need to do something to try and get the fallen player back up. You do see the smokes being tossed.
But at the same time, you could say the same thing for Orangutan as well, because they've lost Wizjord right now. He's down on his knees, so the revival's going to come in for both these teams. There's the white flag now being thrown, but in the midst of it all, there's also a grenade. Trying to get someone maybe out. A bit of a chip damage, but that's all about it. Atanki now uses up another smoke to try and create that wall, but wait a second. Hector, way too down in that HP, and Carnival, can they retreat? That's going to be a question because MOGO is now trying to pincer them.
Oh, what a nade that was. A 2-piece from that one single nade. And now CG, they can start to feel that pressure. They're looking quite nervous, unsettled inside of this fight. The defending champions, once again, reigning supreme in this fight too. As Shogun, he pushes on up, but still he gets shut down. Sit down, says the opponent, but then MOGO Esports, the backup arrives in time. But then there's also a third party in the name of OG, and OG this time, they're here to latch onto these points. As Witchshot, he pushes on up, up close and personal. Still there's Hector right around the corner. And the man slowly and steadily ticking to his death. A nade being tossed from the side of Justin. That's going to catch Atanki as well. What a nade that was, a 3-pointer.
Right from downtown goes and basically saves the life of his teammate, at least for some time. But yeah, Hector's going to try and do the exact same thing. Pretty low in that HP, but he's again down on his knees. So can't do anything about it. But AK, he had something cooking up in his hands, but was brought down by none other than the man himself, Delta. Striking from a flank angle. Perfect play coming in from MOGO.
This is what you like to see from that team. OG too, finally getting eliminated from this entire game. And for OG, they were wrecking a lot of these teams, right? They were like a wrecking ball inside of the lobby.
Yep.
Before now, speaking of the wrecking stuff, you've got Reckoning. And even with just a 2-man squad, still not shying away from the fights, right? Still constantly challenging those. You've got Viper as well. He's getting shot at from the back lines. Back's not cleared. The man's constantly getting stabbed. Tosses out a couple of smokes, but still that's not going to be enough. As Team 8-Bit, they do find that connection.
He talked about this team as well, how they've always found themselves in some decent positions, but this time they want to move far beyond the decent. And they've got an opportunity to do that as well. They just have to care about what's happening on their right, with the spray coming in from Flock. For now, as Revenant want to join the action as well. Important as Juicy gets a big with that as 12k of his and takes down Immortal, shows him how mortal he is.
Yeah. Loses on the patience, pushes up close and personal, gets that point. And just like that, sends the team back to the lobby. And now you've got VASISTA Esports, the two teams right next to each other. VASISTA is going to be quite jealous of the team that's right next to him. These two teams down south can be a big problem for Revenant that is there on the northern side.
True.
But you've still got 6 teams in the playing field. The Revenant, they cannot just rule them all out. All these teams out in the open, no one's safe for now.
Still want to see how the rotation is going to be landing in for the side of Raven specifically, who are all the way towards the eastern edge at this point. In the meantime, Revenant, you talked about this team. Raiden is one on the receiving end for their spray down. But at the same time, I don't really feel very comfortable if I'm in Revenant's shoes, because they can be flanked upon from multiple angles. But Justin will finally fall down to the play zone. The Wall of Death taking him with him.
All of that is fine. MOGO Esports, the last man, Justin, he was all the way back in blue, right? Constantly going for that med strat, eventually loses out on his life.
True.
It's fine now, still a decent finish for his team in the first game at least. managing to secure 9 points. That's impressive.
Oh,
but then you've got Raven Esports now clashing up against Entity. Not that good of a fight considering Equinox. He just hands his life over. That's going to be the one free point given away to Raven Esports as he steps inside of that lion's den. Enemy territory is something you would not want to mess around with, and that's what he does. As Raven Esports, they also do find the final nail in the coffin.
Somraj could not do anything. Was just pincered between Revenant as well as Raven, but what a three-pointer from Save. If there was anything more than three-pointer, you would have that offered. Phenomenal one as well, and the fight still continues. Revenant, they are very well in a situation where they can try and grab a few extra picks.
Speaking of the extra picks, now Team 8-Bit as well, starting to lose out of the patience. Raven Esports, though, making sure that everyone is starting to feel that brunt. Revenant shut down for now. 8-Bit making sure that their presence is going to be felt by the opponents. And 8-Bit, they've got the man advantage too in the final few moments. Right, VASISTA Esports taken down to a 2-man squad. 8-Bit with a 3-man squad. They've also got the highest win percentage, 60% in their hands and 40% in the hands of VASISTA Esports. But still, you cannot underestimate your opponents. But then Aditya tosses in that nade, gets his hand on the secret. Now it's all taken down to that one lonesome survivor from VASISTA Esports. At this point in time, might as well just hand over the chicken dinner to 8-Bit. This one last man, he gives his position away. Now they know exactly where Apollo stands. And this is where the push is going to be made. Both the players, they straight up just run over Apollo, and he does not stand a chance. 8-Bit, with the first game in the opening week, they get the chicken dinner.
What a way to start things off. Everyone have been thinking about this team just not making it up to the podium. But with this kind of start, you know you definitely are worthy of one. Phenomenal performance coming in. Amazing calls from Juicy as well. And you could also argue that the first early few zones actually were in this team's favor too.
I mean, 8-Bit, they like to start off slow, and in the end, they just like to aim for the win, and that's what they did. But how can you forget about a team that got eliminated quite early but still had 16 points in their hands? WSB, if you do play that way, just like WSB did, you can already have a major head start. And imagine if WSB wouldn't have been eliminated. Imagine if they would have stayed alive till the final few moments. That would have been so many points. There's so many possibilities that can happen. But for now, let's move on to the stage for an interview.
आदत सी बन गई है यहाँ पे कि हर बार जब भी हम लोग यहाँ पे आते हैं अक्रॉस द डेज कभी ना कभी तुम लोगों से बात होती है. हाउ डू यू डिस्क्राइब दैट फीलिंग? पहले दिन आपने पहले ही मैच में जीत निकाली, माइंडसेट क्या था?
देखो माइंडसेट तो मतलब हम लोगों का यही था कि पावर प्ले का पूरा यूज़ करेंगे, और हमने करा भी. आपने देखा होगा कि हमने 4 किलो पहले पावर प्ले में उठाए थे, तो बस वहीं से मोमेंटम मिला हमको था कि अब ये मैच बड़ा खींचना है. चिकन ले लिया.
अब आप लीग स्टेज के लिए लगभग क्वालिफाई कर चुके हैं, सो वो प्रेशर जो है क्या वो कम हो गया है?
हाँ बिल्कुल हो गया. हम लोग तो आज सोच कर रहे थे कि आज में ख़त्म करते हैं, कल फिर इसके बाद से मस्ती में खेलेंगे, मार के खेलेंगे पूरा.
यार मैं बिहाइंड द सीन्स देख रहा था, वैसे तुम लोगों के बीच में बहुत सारी बातचीत हो रही होती है, बट इन गेम क्या उतनी बात करने का मौका मिलता है या आर यू जस्ट एंजॉयिंग योरसेल्फ?
हाँ मतलब
एक सेकंड, कोई तो हंसा. कौन हंसा? ये हंसा. हाँ क्या
मतलब बात करने का मौका मिल जाता है. जैसे हमने मारा एक टीम को, उसके बाद हम लोग हंसी मजाक ही कर रहे थे आपस में, तो बस फिर जब फाइट्स होती है तब पूरा सीरियसली हम लोग निकालते हैं हर चीज़.
भाई मुस्कुराते रहना ऐसे, बिकॉज व्हाट अ विन फॉर 8-Bit इन द वेरी फर्स्ट मैच. लेंगे एक छोटा सा ब्रेक. लेडीज एंड जेंटलमैन, व्हाट अ स्टार्ट वी हैव हैड टू द एंड्रॉइड BGMS मास्टर सीरीज सीजन 3.
What's up, everyone? Come on in.
I got 100 ways that I could make you look. You cannot read me, I ain't no page in a book. But there's 100 ways that I could make you look.
Wow.
Make you look.
Wow.
Look, make you look.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Another day, another road, and we go. Arrive with a win, moving up, we know where to begin. Wicked on the wheels, get wicked on the wheels. On a ride we go. Wicked on the wheels, get wicked on the wheels. Another day, another road, and we go.
To live your life the way you want. Compete like the toughest challenger. Dance like there's no tomorrow. Celebrate every second you are alive. Life has no rule books, but we can give you a stage.
Everywhere I go, dirt and pollution dull my skin.
Garnier Turbo Bright Double Action Face Wash. 2x brightening power. With charcoal and vitamin C, deeply cleanses dirt and pollution to fight dullness for instantly bright skin. Garnier Turbo Bright Double Action Face Wash. Try the #1 men's face wash in India. By Garnier Men.
Shave it, shave it, shave it, shave it, shave it, shave it, shave it.
What's the worst that could happen? What's the best that could happen? Philips One Blade. Move fearlessly. Innovation and you. Philips.
To live your life the way you want. Compete like the toughest challenger. Dance like there's no tomorrow. Celebrate every second you are alive. Life has no rule books, but we can give you a stage.
Red Bull gives you wings.
そんな場所だ。全部壊してみっか。俺は塔のてっぺんに登るんだ。
Everywhere I go, dirt and pollution dull my skin.
Garnier Turbo Bright Double Action Face Wash with charcoal and vitamin C. Deeply cleanses dirt and pollution for instantly bright skin. Try the #1 men's face wash in India. Garnier Turbo Bright Double Action Face Wash by Garnier Men.
To live your life the way you want. Compete like the toughest challenger. Dance like there's no tomorrow. Celebrate every second you are alive. Life has no...
Gentlemen, after that short break, and yes, what a game that was from 8-Bit, just stealing it away from VASISTA Esports like that. Unfortunately for VASISTA Esports, lacking a little bit on that man number, that's why they couldn't really have it in their hands.
Yeah, I really thought maybe VASISTA had a chance in that one, but also REVENANT was something that I was thinking might be able to close it out as well. But 8-Bit, oh my god, Juicy, what the timings, man, on this guy. Every single time he decides that, you know what, now I'm going to play aggressive, he always finds some value, and that's when his entire team follows up. And with the addition of Mac, they have been performing phenomenal.
I mean, how can you forget what happened inside of Pachinki too, right? So messy, so many teams just want to go for that one single squad wipe that was there. Fights after fights, third parties after third parties. Even Global Esports in the end, they finally did manage to put a full stop. But then later on, even Reckoning Esports joined that party, while Reckoning Esports unfortunately lost out on one of their players. And that's why I call Global Esports the powerhouse. And even WSB getting away with 16 points in that power play. This team utilized the power play to its fullest potential.
To be very honest, if I'm math is mathing, this team is definitely in the top 5 right now. And that when they get eliminated in the first zone itself. Now that's the strength of this entire lineup which you've already mentioned. But again, some teams not being on par with the situation where we expected them to be. Of course, Soul as well as Godlike, both of these teams could not gather as many finish points as we expected them to.
I mean, for Godlike, once again, repeating the same mistakes, right? Jelly just separated from the pack, just trying to go for the scouting role, and once again, getting caught like that. For Soul, I mean, it felt like they were not even in the competition, right? They just got eliminated off the rip like that, and the same thing can be said for Limra too. They got eliminated so quick in that game that not a lot can be said. You can just let them have that leeway, saying or knowing the fact that, yeah, it was just the first game of the opening week, so it's fine. But now the second game, that is going to be up and coming. They need to understand that's going to be the last game of the day.
That's the whole point about it. You're playing the first game of the day. That's half of the day done already.
Exactly.
But that's the reason why it becomes even more important to be aggressive in the power plays that we saw from most of these teams this time.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the highlights itself, that's how the action started off, right? 8-bit been able to shut down Team Limra like that, all thanks to Mighty. This man was able to put on so many good numbers on the board, right? Team Limra getting shut down, then later on, we all witnessed this entire fiasco inside of Pachinki. I mean, yeah, nothing can be taken away from what we witnessed from the side of WSP, man.
If you're WSP, it was definitely a daunting task to be in Pachinki itself, but man, oh man, they stepped up big time. Only being taken by Global Esports. I mean, I'll be okay with that. It's absolutely understandable. It's Global Esports on the other side. You've already grabbed 16 early points, but the follow-ups that came after that, specifically those messy fights that came out in those grassy lands as well, I think so 8-bit played it out to perfection.
Yeah, I mean, final few moments, the circle was out in the open. 8-bit, they did try to take the advantage of the power play. Even in late game scenario, they managed to clutch it out, get that chicken dinner in the hand too. Patience, they showed them to perfection, knowing exactly when to aggress, knowing exactly when not to aggress. But so many teams, they lost out on the patience, man, in that previous game. We saw so many of these just random pushes.
Now, here's the point about this entire power play scenario and just having two games, right? You either push forward right away in the first game, or you can just wait and think, yeah, maybe today was not a good day, maybe we've got some more weeks to work around, but that's something you really do not have, because after this first week, that's the 3 days we are working on with now, 6 teams will be taken down in the hands of audience's mercy.
I mean, that's what I'm saying too, right? BGMS in general, it just forces these players to go aggressive. I mean, since Season 2, we have been seeing this power play being implemented, and that really forces these teams to go aggressive off the rip like that. And especially if the plane fly path is completely one-sided, well, then it's going to be feast for some of these known names, right? Because there's going to be so many of these pit stop collisions because teams directly cannot extend towards their drop locations.
I would 100% agree with you, and that's the whole point about it. Even this fly path, you could kind of argue, was tilted a bit more towards the northern part rather than being over towards the central part as well. That's one of the main reasons why we still did not see quite a lot of those teams, specifically MOGO, dropping down towards that military base island, which you also mentioned is one of their prime drop locations. Now, these are certain scenarios which, if I think about, will eventually force these teams to fight even more in those early drop. Now, that's when a full 4 assaulting squad comes into the play like WSB. You've got all of them who can just wreak havoc in the lobby.
And once again, you really got to give the leeway to the teams as well, knowing the fact that recently you have went through so many big roster changes. And after those roster changes, this is the big tournament that they're playing. So you can't say, yes, they're taking their time to adjust accordingly, knowing the fact that all the other teams are going to be super aggressive in the lobby. And this new point structure as well, it really allows the team to play aggressive.
I would 100% agree with you.
Yeah.
That's one of the main reasons why, again, this power play, yes, is as crucial as you could talk about it, but that's how quick decision making comes into the play as well. So you need to work on that too.
I mean, talk about decision-making, you've only got one more game left over now. It has to be super quick. If your decision-making is not going to be quick enough in this match at Miramar, well, then everything is just going to start to fail away. Everything's going to start to just fall away from your hands. So this game of Miramar is going to be really important, especially for teams like Team Limra. You've also got some of the teams like REVENANT Esports, Reckoning Esports, who weren't really able to get a lot done.
Yeah, absolutely true. WSB would technically be happy. Yes, only 16 points in a day, but it's just one day where you have this one match, right? After that, you'll be playing on all of those maps as well and in those matches. So you'll have some extra, but again, just as you mentioned, for Limra, not the best of the best days out there. For Reckoning as well, a rough start because they don't have any possibility of recovery. But on the other side of the spectrum, for all the Soul Godlike fans out there, for some of the Revenant fans out there, they've still got a match to go on.
I mean, one thing is confirmed, and that is that Group A is now going to be sitting back, right? Especially for teams like Team WSP, REVENANT Esports, Limra, and Reckoning, they're not going to be playing anymore. While Group E is now going to be stepping in. You've got Forever, Team Z, Godsreen, and Gujarat Tigers. And all these teams, they have went through some big changes other than Godsreen. There's so much more to talk about, but for now, let's move on forward to a short break.
Morning notice for at your pass assembly. Better to the man, to the bike, get up there, John, who bet you low key, bike, get up, OP. अपना भी दस दी ओ कुड़ी सच्ची किन्नी सोनी किन्नी
Wow.
ना भी दस दी ओ कुड़ी सच्ची किन्नी सोनी किन्नी किन्नी जग दी रकान चन जिन्नी जिन्नी
Circle to search. Only on Android.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Time to test the waters. Tell me how you wanna lead. Now you hear me roll like raw in my beastly mode. Now wow, wicked unleashed. Yes, wicked. All the cuts and the curves. So wicked. Take what you deserve. It's wicked.
TVS Raider, unleash your wicked.
Red Bull gives you wings.
そんな場所だ全部壊してみっか俺は塔のてっぺんに登るんだ
Everywhere I go, dirt and pollution dull my skin.
Garnier Turbo Bright Double Action Face Wash. 2x brightening power. With charcoal and vitamin C, deeply cleanses dirt and pollution to fight dullness for instantly bright skin. Garnier Turbo Bright Double Action Face Wash. Try the #1 men's face wash in India. By Garnier Men.
To live your life the way you want. Compete like the toughest challenger. Dance like there's no tomorrow. Celebrate every second you are alive. Life has no rule books, but we can give you a stage.
What's the worst that could happen? What's the best that could happen? Philips One Blade. Move fearlessly. Innovation and you. Philips.
そんな場所だ全部壊してみっか俺は塔のてっぺんに登るんだ
Red Bull gives you wings.
Everywhere I go, dirt and pollution dull my skin.
Garnier Turbo Bright Double Action Face Wash with charcoal and vitamin C. Deeply cleanses dirt and pollution for instantly bright skin. Try the #1 men's face wash in India. Garnier Turbo Bright Double Action Face Wash by Garnier Men.
What's up, everyone? Come on in.
I got 100 ways that I could make you look. You cannot read me, I ain't no page in a book. But there's 100 ways that I could make you look.
Wow.
Make you make you look.
Wow.
Look, make you look.
To live your life the way you want. Compete like the toughest challenger.
तेरे लगे तेरी धमकी बड़े नोटिस for at your pass assembly. Better to the man, to the bike, get up there, John, who bet you low key, bike, get up, OP.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and just look at that beautiful TVS Raider. I mean, especially if you look at that Black Panther edition, it looks super wicked. The beastie headlights and Black Panther's iconic mask scream power. Feels like Super Warrior with TVS Raider Super Squad Black Panther edition. I mean, looking at the entire stuff, looking at the stage itself, it just looks incredible. And that TVS Raider right there, it adds on to the beauty.
Absolutely true, and it sounds like a certain team that I actually know of. Let me guess what their name was. Oh, that was 8-Bit who got the chicken dinner in the previous game.
Oh, I mean, 8-Bit definitely now starting to feel the momentum, but then you talk about some of the teams that are on the opposite side of the spectrum. They need to step up right now. If they don't do it, well, then it's pretty much going to be the last game of the day, right? The second game. And then they would need to try and make sure that the upcoming days they do at least somewhat decent to try and carry on the torch forward. I mean, you've got the players, of course, that is a big sign of concern on the players or on the faces of MOGO Esports too, but now they need to buckle up as they're going to drop in the map of Miramar.
Absolutely correct. I would still say their decision was fine because they were able to quickly get an opportunity onto the other team and were just able to pinch it down. If I'm not wrong, that was the Carnival Gaming where they tried to get a few of those finishes. It's just the fact how Orangutan, they kind of played out and apparently just went in a little bit more aggressive. Yes, they were the ones who were on the receiving end of that spectrum, but on the other side, since we're already talking about someone on the receiving end, God's Reign has also been a team that I would really want to say we all want to see them perform really, really good. Yeah, as we've been talking about a lot, right, for all of these teams, 8-Bit again, they look all happy, chill, cool, calm and collected, and you also heard Juicy's talk during the interview mentioning how all of their teammates are they're usually just trying to pull each other's leg unless it's a serious fight.
I mean, he is quite the experienced player, right? So it makes a lot of sense. He's looking in quite the confidence, and this is what you expect from the former players. True. This is what you expect from the glorious players in general. I mean, looking at the godlike players, they've got big signs of concern on their faces, big sign of worry. While you look at the players of 8-Bit, of course there's going to be big smiles considering they just won the game, and now they're also looking forward to do a bit more better.
Definitely. I would agree with you 100% onto that one. And again, staff working out, making sure that everything is picture perfect fixed, just like the lineup of Orangutan.
Now that Group B is going to be stepping in, I really do want to see what God's Reign has in packing. I really want to know your predictions because mine is going to be with God's Reign.
Okay. You already mentioned that God's Reign, you think they'd be trying to outperform everyone else. I'm still going to go with probably this time Team Forever. Okay, just because of the fact how now they've got the new addition of Ash into their roster, I think so that his playstyle would eventually work in favor, and Team Forever, with the way how they've been playing for the entire past year, yes, understandable, you would not see some explosive performances from them, but at the same time, they've been one of the most consistent teams out there who you would always see up in the top 10 positions.
But then you cannot forget Gujarat Tigers that's also stepping in with the Group B. They represent firepower, they represent aggression, and Gujarat Tigers, no matter what sort of lineup changes they go through, one motto is going to be there, and that is going to be the aggression. They always straight up send it against the opponent squad, and then later on think about what to do in that scenario. For Gujarat Tigers, sometimes it does work out, sometimes it doesn't. But let's hope that this new change is really going to be helping them to elevate themselves a little bit more better in the playing field.
Agreed. And since you mentioned about their aggressive playstyle, I still remember during those times back during BGMS 2 when they would always eventually go in for a drop clash at boot camp against the Apes, Orangutan and Gujarat Tigers. That used to be super fun. But yes, at the same time, there's one more team that I do not want to grab away the attention from, and that's going to be Team Z. Now this is a team, yes, I still feel is one of the fan favorites out there as well. Scout has got that experience, but the boys that he also has, they've got a beautiful firepower.
I mean, for Team Z, man, so much on the stake, right? For Scout, even for him, just like Godlike the previous years, haven't been that great. Team Z, they haven't been able to find themselves that footing that's needed. So for Team Z and Team Godlike, there's so much more to look forward to. And if they do not perform once again, then the fans are going to be let down. So these teams, they need to try and buckle up as soon as possible. For Team Soul, the first game of the day wasn't too good, but you know, there's just some sort of a reliance, maybe you can't say. You know that Team Soul, they do really good in the playoffs. They do really good at the starting side of the tournament. Team Soul, they are a champion team. You know they will do good whatsoever.
It's the experience that always comes into the play, but I really want to see how the exiting of his power is going to impact this team. I don't think so it's going to impact them a lot because again, Joker has been brought back in and he used to be one of the insane firing power people out there.
I mean, before his power, Joker was the man who was in the playing floor. So this big switch up hasn't been too big for the side of Soul.
Understandable as well, and all of their fans out there would eventually want to see them perform too, up to their fullest potential. And if I remember correctly, there was this one tournament in which we actually saw the carousel of madness out there, in which Soul was the one that came out on top. This team, whenever they're not under any kind of pressure, performs like there's no one equal to them.
I mean, Revenant on the screen, you see Blaze, Sensei, and the boys. While you look at CG, yeah, sign of worry on the faces, not looking too happy for now. Hector, as I mentioned, has got quite a big shoes to fill, and those are going to be off Omegas, considering Omega is not there in the playing for now. And then you've got Orangutan, a revamped lineup, while you see Aru and I think he's stepping in. Especially Aru, he used to play in Team Aru itself in the past, and his team has been doing really good in the recent days, so you can't say Aru is quite a good IGL.
Agreed. But since we're talking about IGLs, right, I want to talk about quite a few assaulters out there as well, specifically in VASISTA Esports too. And the man that I'm talking about is going to be none other than Apollo, who used to be, during the BGMS Season 2, a clutch man for the side of Revenant, who would always step up in the situations where he needed to. And even in the previous game, we saw him being the last man standing for his side.
I mean, Apollo's performance and some of the officials, it has been really good too.
Yes.
It's been impeccable. It's an unfortunate thing that his team wasn't able to move up forward with the stages, but still you can't say the individual performance from the side of Apollo, it's always been really good. The defending champions themselves, right here on the screen, MOGO Esports with a new name. I mean, so much to look forward to. Destro, once again, he needs to defend his trophy, he needs to defend his title, while all the other teams, they're here to snatch it away from him.
100% agreed, and one of them definitely was Ash from the side of Team Forever. Definitely looking forward to see how that man is going to perform with this new roster too. We mentioned about that, but we also talked about God's Reign at this point, and you basically picked them up for winning out the map of Miramar. But here's the thing, right? I really feel that on the map of Miramar, the way how Chili goes in for those calls and decides those positionings, it's actually pretty good. There's just a mess up between the timings, because quite a few IGLs also know that the specific position is going to be important. So I really want to see him step up a bit more on the aggressive side of the spectrum and try and call for all of his boys to try and play in for that power play, get a few extra additional points, because again, in the first game, you could not perform up to your fullest potential. This one could basically be the game of redemption.
I mean, speaking of God's Reign, right, their previous performance, it's been quite good. True. The recent performance has also been quite good. Playing for, you can't say the new faces on the block, but still these new faces, they have been a wrecking ball in the scene. And God's Reign, they have been the lucky ones to sign up this entire lineup. In the past, this team was known as Cheminix Venom. And now they're over here representing such a massive banner like God's Reign. Yes, definitely a lot of responsibilities are there on the back of Venom, and considering it's his birthday too, there's a chance this man can strike really hard today.
Happy birthday for him. But yeah, at the same time, I'm pretty excited to see how things are going to move forward.
Well, let's move on to a short break for now.
Wow. Circle to search, only on Android.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Time to test the waters. Tell me how you wanna lead. Now you hear me roll like raw in my beastly mode. Now, wow. Wicked unleashed. That's wicked. All the cuts and the curves. So wicked. Take what you deserve. It's wicked.
TVS Raider, unleash your wicked.
Red Bull gives you wings.
そんな場所だ。全部壊してみっか。俺は塔のてっぺんに登るんだ。
Everywhere I go, dirt and pollution dull my skin.
Garnier Turbo Bright Double Action Face Wash. 2x brightening power. With charcoal and vitamin C, deeply cleanses dirt and pollution to fight dullness for instantly bright skin. Garnier Turbo Bright Double Action Face Wash. Try the #1 men's face wash in India. By Garnier Men.
to live your life the way you want. Compete like the toughest challenger. Dance like there's no tomorrow. Celebrate every second you are alive. Life has no rule books, but we can give you a stage.
What's the worst that could happen? What's the best that could happen? Philips One Blade. Move fearlessly. Innovation and you. Philips.
そんな場所だ。全部壊してみっか。俺は塔のてっぺんに登るんだ。
Red Bull gives you wings.
Everywhere I go, dirt and pollution dull my skin.
Garnier Men Turbo Bright Double Action Face Wash with charcoal and vitamin C deeply cleanses dirt and pollution for instantly bright skin. Try the #1 men's face wash in India. Garnier Men Turbo Bright Double Action Face Wash by Garnier Men.
What's up, everyone? Come on in.
I got 100 ways that I could make you look. You cannot read me, I ain't no page in a book. But there's 100 ways that I could make you look.
Wow.
Make you look.
Wow.
Look, make you look.
To live your life the way you want. Compete like the toughest challenger.
Back once again to Android BGMS Season 3 as we're back with the second game of Miramar, which is going to be starting in a couple of moments. Shashanu, I want to know your prediction.
Oh, okay. Now that's a difficult question that you already asked me, but I really think so. Maybe this time around, I'm going to go with one of the fan favorite teams out there. I think so. Again, Godlike might be able to close this one out.
Interesting.
That's a random prediction.
I mean, even Soul can be a really good pick right there, considering it is supposed to be the champions lineup.
That is
but as
true.
we do move on forward towards the second and the last game of the opening week, day one, the plane flap pad starting all the way from Trailer Park Ruins are moving all the way down south towards Los Leones. Now this plane flat pad looks quite decent, unless if you want to move in towards El Azhar, then it will be a tough stretch for the teams.
Now normally Ash would bring his OG boys to there, but now since again Ash is neither with the OG boys, and also I think so that's not going to be the case in this situation. Maybe we're going to see some different rotation paths for most of these teams out. But I know Necro, you're smiling out there in the background. I know you're super happy to see Los Leones in the path of the plane. Because you want to see those early fights happen there, don't you?
Who doesn't? Who doesn't? Even inside of San Martin, there's a high chance we might just see that collision coming through, considering God's Reign and even Team X Park moving in towards that same area.
Maybe Picardo?
Maybe. So many possibilities, right? Inside of Picardo, you're definitely going to see CG move in. So, yeah, a lot of things can happen.
Here's this thing, I mean, Team Z has already decided that they don't want to take any kind of benefit of the power play whatsoever, all the way dropping down over to the northwestern part. That's going to be super crazy.
I mean, makes a lot of sense, right? That's how Scout likes to play. Likes to start things off on the defense. But talk about Team X Park. Yeah, I mean, already starting things off with a collision, right? This is what I started. This is what I expected. And that's what happens. Team X Park, they're already starting to knock on the doors of God's Reign as even Fury gets knocked out. But Altitude returns back to favor. Hands out the death blow to the opponents, and the AKM this time once again striking, but then the backup's going to be there on point. And Team X Park, they grab 8 points off the rip.
Beautiful approach coming in from the team, and the drop clash we were talking about might actually happen. Did happen, but yes, it was between X Park and God's Reign, and I believe someone predicted that God's Reign would eventually be the winner, but again, It seems that Ash, oh my god, is in such a trouble. Atanki was taken down, but what a revenge story for the Apes.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the first game hasn't been looking too good for these teams, right? Even God's Reen now just collapsing under that pressure before now focusing on this fight. You've got Team Forever struggling a bit. Omega knocked out. Mafia around the corner. And even his position's now known. Great confirmation. The man instantly backs away inside of the house. Now at this point in time, just playing peekaboo. For Mafia, he's getting peeked on from all the different angles, and he's now got a UMP-45 to try and back himself up, but he gets capitalized with just a pistol from AKOP.
Oh my god, everyone just chipped him down enough so that AK's one bullet will be able to do dirty to that man, but honestly, that's Forever just facing a lot of problems, and again, a couple of early finishes out there, two teams getting those early 8 points. Now that's something that you would always love to see. ORANGUTAN as well, a phenomenal start for them.
Oh, REVENANT Esports. Even for them, it's troubles knocking on the door, but then the cavalry is going to be there on point.
8-bit.
As they do shut down the first man, Pucar is also slowly and steadily creeping and crawling to his safety. Will he be allowed? That's my question. REVENANT Esports, 3 of the players in the front lines, while CarpeDiem now left with no other choice than to back away from this fight, show their backs, and that's what they're doing. CarpeDiem, for them, the first 2 games hasn't been that great of a start, even the Miramar included. It's looking really tough. CarpeDiem now taken down to a 2-man squad off the rip like that by REVENANT Esports. I mean, not a lot can be said. CarpeDiem definitely starting to sweat a little bit.
Something that they have to work around, right? Because in this opening week, there would be one day when they'd just be playing one game. So you've got to make every single play count. Aditya.
No, man's knocked out.
I mean...
there we go.
Okay. I thought he'd eventually punch him or maybe pick him up to pull him off somewhere.
He does not want to overstep the boundaries, right? You never know where the backup fire is going to be there from the opponents. That's why just went for that safer finish instead of the PM.
Again, I mean, just accept it, Necro. You wanted to see that as well, but yeah.
Who doesn't, right? Rivalries happening on the fly. Who wouldn't like to see that? But I really do feel for Team Forever and God's Reen, right? 2 of the formidable forces not inside of the game anymore. And considering it was also the last game of the day for these guys, so yeah, a bit of a rough start. And the good thing for them is that it was just the game 1, knowing the fact that they just stepped inside of the playing field. They were in the Group E, so it's all good. They've just played one game and they have failed that. A lot of teams have failed their first game.
It's absolutely fine. You've got more than enough opportunities to try and bring yourself back.
Crunchyroll is India's largest anime library, over 800 plus shows, also available in your preferred language. Watch for only 79 rupees per person. Isn't that a good offer?
Good offer? You already know I've got those subscriptions, right?
Oh, wow.
Don't forget.
Oh, yeah, you're a big anime fan, right?
One of the biggest out there in the nation, I'd agree. But yeah, at the same time, 8-bit again, they had a pretty solid start in the previous one. They've had a pretty decent start in this one, getting a free elimination right in their footsteps. Seems like there's been some God's grace with them at this point, at least for now, for this day, because that has been working out perfectly. But on the other side, I would not put out the Orangutans out of the question because they've only lost Wizjord in those entire engagements and still have 8 points.
I mean, with that previous win, it feels like 8-bit. Now they're moving fearlessly. Just like our Philips One Blade, you can move fearlessly too. Keep that in mind.
I really want to see how the rotation of most of these teams would work out, right? Because again, this circle rotation is just, it blows my mind sometimes. But one thing that I really like is, in fact, it has been shifted over directly towards the eastern part. Quite a lot of the territories where players dropped is just not in that circle whatsoever. Almost opposite to what the fly path was. But I think so the fans of MOGO as well as MOGO, the entire team, would eventually be happy because they always like to drop down over towards those eastern edges and then make their rotation. And right now, they don't need to.
Goblin driving a party bus. I mean, it would make a lot of sense if they do end up third-partying someone. But yeah, Godlike For now, they found themselves at home in Puerto Paraiso. Quite a bit of a change in the drop location, considering this team was known to drop inside of Hacienda del Patron, the house of the boss. But this time, Godlike, knowing the fact that the recent days, they haven't been going too good for them. Instead, just opting out for the safety drop locations. Team Z taking a fight against the team in the front. Entity on the receiving end of things as Troy gets knocked out. For Team Z, the exact start they wanted to have in the power play. 2 points already in the pockets.
Perfectly securing those points as well. I was about to mention that they're on the western edges. Would have to make a long rotation and might actually come in contact with quite a few teams out there on their way. But they ended up on the winning end of that spectrum, so I think so they're going to be pretty happy about it. Losing Troy, that's a very big thing for Entity because the man, the firepower, is just almost unmatched out there in the lobby. But they still have Somraj, Aquanox and Raiden. I mean, Raiden being brought in from WSB. So you know the man packs a punch.
Oh, he indeed does. I mean, for WSB going through the recent changes, so far it's been quite good. It's been immaculate. We're not really seeing anything being changed in the core playstyle. So I'm a big fan of that.
Let's see if Raiden just becomes the Goku or ends up turning as a Yamcha.
Oh.
Really want to see him go into that Super Saiyan mode and try and catch a few people out there, left, right, and center. Some anime geeks will understand the reference.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess. I mean, I just understood Super Saiyan and Goku, that's it. Nothing else. But for now, a GT, Gujarat Tigers, aggression dripping from their collars. We know what they're capable of. The Tigers roaring in the playing field. Just looking forward to find a few elimination points to kick things off within the power play. Everyone wants to have those. And now Soul on the hunting party as well as they shut down Clutch God from the side of GT. But then there's another man, Hirsch, right there around the corner. Shuts down Knuckle in return. But then Hirsch is out in the open. And even he does not stand a chance for Soul too. They're on the receiving end of things. Now it's going to be a 1v1 in the end. But then it's going to be Joker to clutch things out. And for Soul, what a great start that is. 8 points in the pockets.
All the people out there who are questioning how good Soul would be, with the exit of his power, Joker's out there to answer that it does not matter for the team. Phenomenal performance coming in from him, getting one of that crucial clutches 1v1s. The winner would have just secured those 8 points and the one who lost would have basically got that exit. But this time Soul, not following the footsteps of what happened in the previous Erangel. Looking pretty solid at this point, but yeah, again, a tough start for the side of Gujarat Tigers right now. Again, we've been talking about the fact they only play one game today and they were not able to get even a single point in this one, losing their first fight itself. Tough luck.
I mean, speak of tough luck, even Team Forever, they have been having that so far.
True.
Even for CarpeDiem CD, the same thing can be said. First game, it was a bad start. Second game, bad start once again. So yeah, a lot of these teams indeed just stepped inside of the playing field with a tough luck. And keep this thing in mind. Today, one group is not going to be playing, and that's Group F. Tomorrow, Group F will be having a chance to play both of the games. True. So that is also quite important. And if Group F is not able to do a lot, just know the fact that there are some heavy hitters in the Group F2. You've got Vikings, FS, Team Tamilas, and One Blade. All these teams quite known inside of the battlegrounds, inside of the circuit, especially FS Esports.
True.
New faces on the block, or at least few new faces on the blocks in that lineup. And these new faces, they have been able to put a major dent on the competitive scene.
Another team that has actually managed to do that is definitely Team Tamilas as well, which you just mentioned.
The OGs.
The OGs. One of the most experienced people out there. The ones that have never fumbled.
Yeah, but they always do end up fumbling in the BGMS. That's been the main problem, right? As I mentioned, Team Tamila's playstyle is complete on the opposite side of the spectrum. They like to play it really safe and sound in the first half of the game. But BGMS, it really forces you to play aggressive. So I want to see that adaptation come through from the side of Tamilas. I want to see them go aggressive off the rip.
Absolutely. Only 5 more seconds now for the power play to end. So no more double points now whatsoever. So we'll be switching back to the default style of all of these teams, playing it slow, calm and collected, but maybe not this circle, man. At this point, it's just taking some bizarre turns again, moving a little bit more towards the southeastern part, also leaving out Lazar, almost half of it out of the safe. But again, look at Soul. They're all the way out there in Crater Fields. We'll be having their fun time for their own rotations. Quite a few of those teams are out there though, including Orangutan. But most of the cluster is now forming in over towards the central part, just a bit north of La Bendita. And again, Godlike following the footsteps of MOGO out there over towards the eastern edges. Will be moving over towards Impala, taking that space. Revenant, I feel, still has actually got a pretty solid positioning.
Yeah. You can't say the second game of the day wasn't too messy like the first one, right? Now teams know exactly what to expect in the playing field. They know exactly what to expect inside of the matches. So that's why we just saw 3 squad wipes and a few individual blows here and there. Entity received 1, even Team X-Spark received 1, OG received 1, which is fine. CarpeDiem received 2, so that's a major blow, a big setback. For REVENANT Esports, getting these 2 points means a lot. For Sensei, in general, it means a lot. A lot of the questions have been raised, a lot of fingers have been raised on his IGLing, but we know what Sensei is capable of. This man has led this roster for such a long time, but now with the recent changes, a lot can happen.
Oh, but one thing that definitely happened was, in fact, Neo getting a pick on Big Ski. And this time, Goblin is now on the receiving end of the spectrum too, but I think so he'd be safe. VASISTA Esports is trying to find an equalizer on the other side to try and go in for the punish onto Carnival Gaming, but just do not have that angle to do so.
Yeah, this game seems much more competitive, right? This Miramar seems much more slower. Everyone taking things way too seriously, cautiously. Team Z as well. They managed to get 2 points. And now looking at CG. Constantly taking shots against VASISTA Esports. Now that's what you call suppressive fire. Making sure that the opponent is feeling your pressure.
And VASISTA, with the way how previous game went in, they were able to grab some 13 points for them. They're in a pretty decent position though, but again, in a one where you do not want to lose your footing whatsoever, because games are less. We're going to see a lot of changes in terms of that leaderboards. But at the same time, the one still sitting on top is going to be 8-bit. They grabbed a couple of finish points for them, 24 points in total. You know, they're having a fun time, and one team that is definitely not having a fun time, I would still kind of argue is Carnival Gaming, because even though this team survives quite a bit, they just cannot close the games out.
I mean, survival. In BGMS, you will see a lot of these teams failing to survive, and that's not going to be a tough pill to swallow, at least for the viewers. It is expected, right? Someone's got to die in the power play. Someone's got to take the advantage.
True.
And right now, MOGO Esports. Interesting. The masters of stealth, maybe you can call them. Justin, he did not even reveal his position. Just let the man skip away in front of him. MOGO Esports playing at the top, playing for the information. Just looking forward to rain down hellfire against the foes in the front.
But guess what? X-Spark are the ones who on the receiving end, but Sarang wanted to go in for a trade as well at the same time. Cannot do that now. The flank angle coming into the play. He's got to leave his angle whatsoever, so Mighty is going to be surviving for a while. 8-bit yet again. Pretty solid in terms of the members' advantage. Should not have a major problem, but now maybe they would, because it's Soul joining the party and Sarang has been taken down, and Mighty has decided that he does not want to be a part of it.
Indeed. I mean, look at Sarang trying to crawl back, but unfortunately meets his maker. Sends him straight to the gods.
Oh.
For Soul, it's been a really great start, and that's what they exactly needed. Look at them, 9 points. Already starting to look really good at damage. And now you've also got Soul taking a few shots against the winners of the previous game. That's going to be 8-bit. I mean, for 8-bit, they have been moving really fearlessly on this entire battlefield. So yeah, for them, it's all good in the hood. A few shots were taken against them, but 8-bit, are they really going to be scared away of that? Absolutely not. They're more than eager to take this fight.
It seems like they're just leading the side of Soul into a trap of their own. Just want to try and capture a good positioning as well before they try to fire the shots, and that's exactly what I was talking about. As Ronnie on the receiving end as well. But Mac is the first one to actually fall onto his knees, as now Soul will eventually charge up forward. Ronnie tries to go in for the fight as well, but Aditya is the man who stands up strong and juicy with the supportive fire. But again, you still have to take out the last man who's standing.
Unfortunate for them. But yeah, Juicy's still right there around the corner. And yeah, maybe you can't say saves the day for Team 8-Bit. Soul getting eliminated with 9 points in the pocket. Team 8-Bit, they wipe out a strong force, a wrecking ball from the lobby. And now that's going to be a big sigh of relief for the entire lobby in general, man. Soul have always been the formidable opponents.
One Goliath falling, but the other one getting activated a bit maybe, because Jonathan finding a knock out there definitely could mean that this might be an opportunity for them to go on to that revival arc. You think this team might be able to outperform. Now, this is one thing that I've always talked about. If 8-Bit gets onto the aggressive end and they find a good momentum, they're normally able to take down a lot of those players. But for our team X-Park, they would eventually get in contact with the side of 8-Bit over in La Bendita. It seems to be the case. But on the other side, if you're taking again a look at the circle, shifting a bit over towards the north, means all the teams who are down south in Impala will have to take the rotation. And that means MOGO and CarpeDiem will be in the way.
I mean, look at down south towards La Benedita, right? You see 8-Bit and Team X-Park 2 facing it off against each other. And both these teams, they're quite the freaks of nature. Yep. Especially for Team 8-Bit, today's day has been immaculate. You cannot take anything away from that. And I'm loving the fact that they're also putting on the aggressive phase, and that's not what something 8-Bit is known for. 8-Bit, they're known for their passive start. They're known for that safer start. But this time, 8-Bit, they're playing quite aggressive. That's break on. What a spray that was. This is what the man is known for. But then, unfortunately, up close and personal. This time, he gets strike down. Mighty puts an end to that man's life as he moves on forward, tries to get the revival on the fallen player. Team 8-Bit, once again, to somehow bounce back. They rise up from the ashes.
Ninja Jot just a bit more late to the party as well, and now Mighty's out there scouting, making sure that he's able to find the positioning, and Ninja seems to be in trouble out there in the open, nowhere to run, nowhere to hide, as Mighty tries to fire some shots onto him, and he's got to be worried about his 6, because that's where the rest of the 8-Bit strikes, and Mighty finds the perfect timing on the back of the ruckus being caused by his teammate, catches Ninja with his back open, and shoots the entire magazine there.
Flawless. That's all he can say. 8-Bit is absolutely flawless. Right now at the top of the table as well in the overall standings. 8-Bit slowly and steadily starting to build that lead. They already had 24 points, at 8 on top of that, and considering they've got every single player still alive in the roster, that's even better. The icing on top of the cake they needed. MOGO Esports, the defending champions themselves, once again starting to strike back, right? MOGO Esports, they were there on the elimination feed a while ago.
Yep.
They have gotten 0 points so far, so that means the conversion's still lacking.
Yeah, but that's just for this game, right? Overall, they were able to secure 11 points in the previous one, so...
I mean,
looking...
You've got WSB above them, who's only managed to play 1 game so far. There's also VASISTA Esports right there. 8-Bit slowly and steadily is building up that lead, so MOGO Esports, they got to get that lead.
True. But yeah, at the same time, at Mino, you can try and find some opening shots onto, oh my god, 8-Bit, it seems everywhere this team goes, the fight is finding them. And they're just super eager to answer back as well at the perfect point. But Godlike, they've decided they want a good rotation back into the circle. So next teammates just spotting each other out, that's about it. Nothing major apart from that. And La Bendita is the place now that's out of that safe circle. But Delta definitely out there making sure that his presence is known. Close by to that safe zone. But making it unsafe for the people who are trying to go for the cross.
Team C out in the open, not feeling too good with that position. And this is what I'm exactly talking about. MOGO Esports slowly and steadily chipping them away. They're feeding on their souls. Justin puts an end to another man's life. And now MOGO Esports, yeah, they keep on moving up with the confidence. 2 players in the front right there. Both of them securing the individual frags. 1 each. Destro and Justin. For MOGO Esports, decent start in the top 11.
Good for them. But unfortunate for the side of Team Z. Arigato just not making it out alive from that position.
Uh-oh. Sprays there, but the connection missing. Apollo. It's quite far away too, man. With the 4X, it's tough to connect sprays like that.
Agreed.
But still, at least he should have connected 1 or 2 shots in my opinion, but it's fine. VASISTA Esports, considering losing out to 2 players, definitely enough jitters given to them.
Oh my god.
And Apollo now on the struggling side of things. Shots are taken against the man in the front, but he's not able to find anything just yet. A bit as well, just trying to find some random connections through the smoke. But yeah, even he's not able to find anything.
If I were 8-bit, I'd really just decide to go in for the rotations as well. But yeah, at the same time, where would you go? Because there's Godlike answering back. Punk out there in the open as well. And this is a fight that is technically inevitable now. You've got Godlike up against 8-bit, up close and personal in the warehouses. And Jelly is just so far away, but Mighty finds an opening for Godlike because he took down his own teammate with that nade.
8-bit. It's fine. Sometimes small mistakes do
not.
tend to happen, but now Godlike, they've gotten the opening, the exact opening they needed inside of the fight. Unfortunately, Juicy's also getting capitalized, and that's OG partaking in the fight as well. The third party right there around the corner. Godlike, they need to be a little bit more safe now. Knowing the fact that the opponent's right there around the corner, Jonathan went for the first aid, but at the wrong timing. He does strike down 1 player, but the cover fire for the side of 8-bit, it's there on the perfect time. Jelly's trying to close on up, but a little bit too late to the party. And now Godlike on the verge of being eliminated, exterminated from this entire game. And that's what happens. Godlike, so unorthodox in that fight. That approach was quite scattered. 2 of the players from the side of Godlike just completely disconnected from the rest.
8-bit are just not losing no matter the amount of fights you put in front of them. But now Mighty would finally fall down on his knees. And it's all down to just Mac with the AKM in his own hands, and the second being the M4. You've got some good weaponries, but maybe not the shotgun that can provide you some good damage. AK is the one out there.
Fine.
With DBS, but 8-bit will be happy. They've got 11 points in some positions.
I mean, in 8-bit, it's completely fine. Them getting taken out in that fight like that, 11 points from that one single game, I mean, you got to put on happy faces, right? 24 plus 11. That's 35 points. Quick maths.
But for now, some quick shots being fired by Raiden. Was able to put down Atanki while he was moving out. Should be able to grab that pick. Absolutely, yes. Finally, some openings coming in for the side of Entity as well. The first one for this second. But Revenant in the meantime is now answering back over towards the side of MOGO. But Ninja Boy also wants to try and find some exits. Oh my god, the shots are just impeccable. And he'll get the person down on his knees.
Oh my god!
Make it 2!
That's what you get from Ninja Boy. That's what you get from Global Esports. Firepower, the powerhouse, Global Esports themselves. I mean, in the Season 1 of BGMS, Global Esports was the one to lift the trophy. Yes, the lineup was different. But this name has always been able to get a good scouting program for themselves. They always bring in legends on the roster. But these 4 players, they're legends on the making.
And if I'm not wrong, even in Season 2, they were the top 5. But for now, Auckland wanted to find a few connections out there. Now the circle is going to play a very crucial role because the Wall of Death is going to do so much damage to you. You've always got to be wary about your positionings, and everyone's just so spread out because it's the map of Miramar, and that's what you normally see. There's all highs, lows, mountain tops, those trenches. They're going to be super crucial, specifically those utilities, smokes.
For CarpeDiem, man, they're in their trouble of their own, always. I mean, now even Gamla Point knocked out. Players quite scattered, do not know what to do. CarpeDiem, rough luck in the first 2 games, right? Considering Gamla Boy's knocked out too, now CarpeDiem, they just do not know what to do anymore. Aquinox from the top, just raining down bullets. He's got the high ground advantage in the fight. He's got so much information to play as well. He knows exactly where every single team is positioned for now around him.
Going to be important, as you've already mentioned, having those high grounds. But again, they do not have a lot of time there. Eventually have to let go of that space as well as move into the circle, because you talk about it. I think so Carnival are the ones who've got the best possible location right in the dead center. My goodness, Ninja Boy.
This man's a laser beam. He does not miss a lot of shots. Global Esports in general, every single player in this roster, they're just really good. There's a reason why I call them the powerhouse. There's a reason why a lot of these teams are scared to face against Global Esports in a complete 4-on-4 fight. And right now, Arcelin, yes, he's knocked out, but then Beast is still there around the corner. Max Payne trying his best to make sure that CarpeDiem stays alive for a few more minutes. He went for the confirmation, too greedy in that fight, and then the teammate hits back harder.
Slug now facing a lot of trouble of his own. Global Esports getting third partied as Ninja Boy is down on his knees. Revenant finding a perfect opportunity as Vlog was able to get that finish, but save will be taken down, will be confirmed as well. Slug from that side angle. But Ninja Boy, he should not survive this one. Definitely he should not. But just because how Slug is providing that cover fire, it might be possible that he might still stay up for at least a while long.
Back in the cover though, right? Slug's a little bit far away. If he's got his hands on the vehicle, then Slug can definitely try and close on up. This is where the confirmation's gonna follow up with Flock. Overpeaks that angle. Slug instantly sprays him down. It's REVENANT Esports now starting to feel the brunt. Flock knocked out as well. They do not know what exactly to do. Luckily enough, Flock is in cover. He's got some piece of cover to play with. And Slug, yeah, making sure that REVENANT Esports, they're gonna be feeling quite immobile. Blows up that vehicle, or at least the tire.
Entity again in such a prime positioning as well, apart from Carnival Gaming, you talk about it. But they're still not in the circle, and it seems like the circle wants Carnival to win. This team has been quiet for such a long time, and hearing all the commotion around them, this is the perfect opportunity to grab a few extra points.
The only cover that's available in the zone is now being acquired by Carnival Gaming. Soon enough, there's going to be a big storm approaching that entire compound. For Slug, this man is just not stopping. It's constantly taking shots against the foes in the front. He's got a vehicle to play around with, and now he's going to try to close on up inside of the zone, and that's what he does. But this is going to be a sending moment. He just needs to hope that no one is going to be focusing on top of him. Another fight erupting in front of us, and this time CG, they're trying to take it against the players of Entity. Somraj is also quite low. Equinox gets eliminated, and just like that, Entity, they have been showcased the gates of hell.
And so is Global Esports. Slug could not survive any longer, but for now, it just seems that Goblin is out there on a rampage, and what a game, what a performance coming in from Carnival Gaming. Getting a much-needed chicken dinner for themselves.
Expectations met, that's all I can say. Tick all the boxes when it comes to Carnival Gaming. This change has been working decent for them. Hector, IGLing quite well, having a really good spot inside of the zone. The circle is forming right on top of this man over and over again. And his entire team was graced by the BGMS gods, and they took the perfect advantage of that moment. Nicely done by the players of Carnival Gaming, and this was a desperately needed chicken dinner too. What a way to end the day. The game 2 in the hands of CG, the game 1 in the hands of 8-Bit, but you really got to give it to 8-Bit as well. 11 points taken away from this game 2. With 36 points, 8-Bit, they're looking quite comfortable in the overall standings. Let's move on to the stage for an interview.
Alright, हमारे साथ कार्निवल गेमिंग बॉस कौन बात करने वाला है? So, तुम्हारे से स्टार्ट करता हूँ भाई मैं. यार बिना आईजीएल के खेल रहे थे, ठीक है? I mean, how did you pull this off? सबसे बड़ा सवाल तो सबके अंदर यही चल रहा है अभी.
ऐसा कुछ लाइक जोन फेवर कर गया, ज़्यादा किल्स वगैरह मिले नहीं. अगर किल्स वगैरह आते तो मैं भी थ्रो हो जाता, बट जोन मिल गया तो हम लोग को खाली मिल गया, फेवर आ गया, लक वाइज गेम अच्छा गया, वरना तो हम लोग चिकन इतना इजीली कन्वर्ट नहीं कर पाते. ये करंट टीम के साथ तो आई गेस.
देखिए लीग स्टेज के लिए अब आप क्वालिफाई कर चुके हैं ऑलमोस्ट. वो ऑलमोस्ट वर्ड जो है लगाना बहुत ज़रूरी है. सो डज दैट मीन दैट द प्रेशर इज ऑफ, क्योंकि पहले दिन ही आपने दूसरे मैप पे जब जीत हासिल कर ली है. सो डज दैट गिव यू दैट कॉन्फिडेंस कि यस अब हम आगे बढ़ सकते हैं?
हम लोग सोच के आए थे कि फर्स्ट डे पे एटलीस्ट 20 पॉइंट्स निकालेंगे, जो एक मतलब सेफ पॉइंट रहता है ना क्वालिफाई करने के लिए. तो आई थिंक हम लोग ने वो टारगेट कर लिया, और ऐसे टारगेट कर रखेंगे हम लोग और करते रहेंगे.
हेक्टर थोड़ा सा बैक सीट लिया हुआ था, लेकिन अब वो फॉर्म जो है वो वापस नजर आया है. आईजीएल वन के अब आपको कैसा लग रहा है?
बढ़िया लग रहा है, बट अभी तक प्रूव नहीं किया अपने आप को, तो टूर्नामेंट में प्रूव करने ये वाले हैं.
देखिए बातें अभी खत्म नहीं हुई है, बिकॉज राइट नाउ वी गोइंग टू गो बैक टू द स्टूडियोज एंड जॉइन आवर बॉयज देयर.
I mean, quite a lot to say in that interview, right? For CG, they finally do find some sort of success in this day one itself, and this was desperately needed too. And as the interviewer said too, right, he did take a backseat for a while, and Hector now is back with revenge in his mind.
That is absolutely true. I mean, just getting the position into that circle perfectly does not matter what's going around him. It's just like one of the sayings that we always have. I'm not going to recite it right now. I'll tell you that later. But yes, the man was just waiting for the aggression to come to him and then answer back. And specifically talking about this team, taking the fight behind them. If I'm not wrong, it was against Team Entity, finishing them off and then moving forward, securing all the finish points left, right, and center. Perfect play from their side.
I mean, in general, this second game of Miramar felt much more organized. The first game was way too messy. Felt like so many random fights were happening. But you know what? Speaking of the game of Miramar, let's move on and look at the highlights, because that's where things are going to be a little bit more cleared up, right? The plane flat path, it was tilted up and north. As I mentioned, if the players didn't want to go towards El Hazar, it will be a tough stretch. But then we also saw Team X-Park take the fight against the foes in the front, which were God's Reen off the rip. And Team X-Park, they did come out on top in quite a great fashion.
I mean, you really do not want to take a fight against one of the champion squads out there, specifically when they're in the form. And that is what they showed. But talking about form, my oh my, 8-bit. And with the way how this team has been playing, the fights are coming to them and they're answering back perfectly. The passive aggression as well, just baiting out their opponents, specifically with the way they played against Soul.
Oh yeah.
Mind-blowing stuff.
I mean, shutting down Soul, as you mentioned, right? That has to be a big statement. That has to be a stark statement to the lobby.
True.
All the other teams now, they need to bank up and know the fact that 8-bit, they are going to be the freaks of nature too in the BGMS Season 3. But then Jonathan, the entire squad of Godlike, once again failing themselves to knowing the fact that they also had the advantage to start things off in that fight, right? We did see a little bit of miscommunication from the side of 8-bit where there was a team nade.
Yeah, exactly. It was Mighty actually blowing up on his own teammate. So I would 100% agree with you. Even after that mishap, Godlike not capitalizing on it was definitely a big, iffy situation for them. But something that definitely did not happen wrong was the zone forming, because Carnival Gaming were having so much fun.
For them, the hold on to that compound was just perfect. It was incredible. Knowing exactly when to strike, knowing exactly when to take a fight against Entity, knowing the fact that they were comfortable but still stepped outside of that comfort zone, took that fight, got those points, and CG, that proactive nature is something that helped them secure that chicken dinner too, and also extra bit of elimination points at the start, right? So for CG, that's exactly what they needed to end things off. And knowing the fact that, as I mentioned, there's a major change in CG. The IGL has shifted to Hector, and Hector, he took a long break. He was not there in the playing for at least the past year, maybe you can't say.
I would 100% agree. If I'm not wrong, in just BGMS Season 2, he got some of the play time as well, and maybe nothing after that. So I would agree that it was a difficult decision, but at the same time, now seeing how they basically got the chicken dinner in the second game of the evening, I think so that's still pretty good opportunity for them to try and get that form back.
I mean, for Group E, they stepped in for the first time. We saw Forever being eliminated quite early. Team Z as well, not able to do a lot. I mean, in general, even Gujarat Tiger, God's Reen 2 getting eliminated off the rip like that. So in general, all these 4 teams that stepped in from the Group B, rough luck for them. It was the first game, and you can't say it was also quite the organized game. Maybe in the game 1 of Erangel, they could have done better because things were quite messy.
I mean, talking about Team Z, how you brought up their own point, I really would want to talk about the fact how they did not want to utilize the use of that power plays additional points. If I'm not wrong, they only got that one finish during the wave when I guess they found out the member of Team X-Park. And after that, they just took the round tour around the coastlines of Miramar and then ended up right into the clutches of MOGO. Now, these are the situations when you want, at that point, you find some value. But again, going on for such a long rotation and not having any idea about what might be on the other side, tough luck for them, that's what I'll say.
Definitely. I mean, just knowing the fact that even Godlike changed their drop location on the fly, right?
Yes.
Now dropping Impure the Price, so I'm not sure what's going on in their heads, but that's a big drop location change. Because we know the Golden Murado, it always belonged to Johnny, but now that they have given up on that, it's really interesting to see how Godlike is going to be adapting. Yes, they have played the first 2 games. They haven't really been able to find a lot of that success in the first 2 games itself. But then you cannot forget, this is going to be a festival. And you do see the Move Fearless clips from Philip's One Blade. This is how the entire day started off, man. The players were looking quite locked in and loaded. The first game of Erangel, quite messy, but then things were looking much more organized.
one thing I'm not gonna take away from Soul is the fact that they definitely were moving fearlessly whatsoever, and every single time you would see them approaching some other team, they would try to tuck tails and run away. Just because of the amount of massive firepower that this team has. And even Joker, man, not losing his form whatsoever, that basically fulfills all the shoes that his power was the wearing one. So I think so this team is still one to be feared of.
Definitely. I mean, the defending champions too, not being able to find that good of a ground today itself, but still doing decent in the overall standings, not doing too bad. They are in a spot where they can be recovered, but also keep this thing in mind. We're just inside of the opening week. You're not going to get anything if you place yourself in the top 3. You're not going to get anything if you get the podium finish. All you need to do is just be in the top 18. That's it.
I mean, easier said than done. That's what I'll say at this point, because everyone on those last 2 days who will be down in that leaderboard will eventually try to pick a fight with you and try to take you down, man.
Especially in the power play, yeah, the stage 1 itself. Everyone's going to be bloodthirsty. Everyone will try to take you down.
True.
And that's when you got to put up the defense in quite a great fashion. And CG, they're known for their defensive playstyle. But I'm just a big fan of 8-Bit at this point, because 8-Bit, they're supposed to be the passive bunch. They're supposed to be someone who does not like taking fights off the rip like that. But now 8-Bit, a complete shift in the gameplay.
I would agree, and it's not just them changing their gears, right? They still went in for their normal drop locations where they always love to. On the map of Erangel, dropping down over towards Miramar as well, and in Miramar, not trying to change a lot of things, but still were very wicked.
I mean, you've got the mobility partner right here, TVS Raider. It's not just all about looks. With the TVS Smart Connect version, with 99 connected feature, and also it has a 5-inch TFT display. That's just incredible on a bike. Sounds amazing. And also you've got the Black Panther and the Iron Man edition, so even that looks quite incredible. But yeah, let's move on with the conversation, right? Considering you've also got an interview lined up, and you know what, no more waiting for the interview. Let's just directly move on to the stage.
Okay, first up, जो ये बात कर रहे थे ना अभी कि 19 जुलाई को कर देना चाहिए एज द जूसी डे, उस पे क्या कहना है जूसी?
अभी आगे के दिन भी आप कर सकते हो, तो थोड़ा वेट करो. आज तो सिर्फ ट्रेलर था, अभी आगे भी बाकी है मूवी.
आप लोगों ने दोनों मैचेस में बहुत अच्छी परफॉर्मेंस दिखाई. ये जो कॉन्वर्सेशन चल रही थी, बीइंग द आईजीएल, इतने सारे डिसीजंस लेने होते हैं, बाकी जो प्लेयर्स हैं उनको भी समझ के आपने वो डिसीजंस जो हैं ताकि आपको मैच जिता सके, यू हैव टू बी कंप्लीटली क्यूड ऑन. गलती की गुंजाइश नहीं होती है. उस टाइम पे व्हाट्स गोइंग ऑन इन योर माइंड?
देखो, हम लोग इस टूर्नामेंट से पहले एक ही माइंडसेट से आए थे और अभी भी हम उसी माइंडसेट पे रहेंगे कि हम लोग सिर्फ किल्स के लिए जाने वाले हैं. और आप लोगों ने देखा भी होगा कि हमको जब मैच 1 के बाद ग्रीन सिग्नल मिला कि हम लोग क्वालिफाई हो चुके हैं ऑलरेडी प्लेऑफ लीग स्टेज के लिए, तो हम लोग सिर्फ फिनिशेस के लिए गए हैं.
फिनिशेस ब्रदर, फिनिशेस. एंड लीडर बोर्ड के बिल्कुल टॉप पर बैठे हुए. वो बाल कटाने का टाइम नहीं मिल रहा है, इसलिए टोपी से छुपा रखा है. लेकिन फिनिशेस के मामले में यू आर ब्रूटल.
या मतलब ऐसा कुछ सोच के नहीं खेल रहा था कि MVP लिस्ट में आना है, बट हम सब बहुत ज़्यादा क्रेजी गन पावर कैरी करते हैं. सबको एक दूसरे पे भरोसा है. सो आज मैंने स्टेप अप किया, कल कोई और कर लेगा हमारी टीम से.
Alright bro, this is my moment in the sunshine. Juicy day के दिन आज मेरी जूसी से बात हो गई है. Back to the boys.
Teamwork makes the dream work, and that's what Juicy pretty much said. He trusts his teammates, he knows they do pack a lot of punch, and that's what they're relying on in this entire Season 3.
Firepower so awesome that sometimes even your own players are in the firing range. happens. But yet again, talking about that fact, how even though they lose a member, yet come out on top in a situation where they're not supposed to, that's what makes 8-Bit strong.
Hey, but you know what? Enough talks. Let's move on directly to the overall standings after the day 1. And 8-Bit, of course, at the top. No one's going to be taking that slot away from them. But then REVENANT Esports, hold on. Under the radar on the 2nd spot. We did not see this coming at all. Orangutan right there on the 3rd. VASISTA Esports chasing them down on the 4th spot. Then you've got Carnival Gaming on the 5th.
It's a super close knit, and that's the whole point, right? All of these teams, they've been constantly grabbing those elimination points, and VASISTA managing it all perfectly with 12 placement points and 8 finish points in the meantime. So I think so if you work around with that strategy, it's going to be pretty good as well. But interesting, I'll be honest, man, once Global Esports, they come online, it will become a fight to be reckoned with, man. This team, you really cannot just take them on when they're feeling it.
I mean, I thought CG after that chicken dinner, they might have just propelled themselves somewhere in the top 4, but still not there yet. They have got a bit more tasks to do. And then you've got also Team X-Park on the latter half of the board with on the 11th spot with just 10 points. Team X-Park, it felt like they did quite a lot. IQOO Soul too is right there on the second board, and then you've got the third page. A few teams, they haven't played their first game yet, and that's going to be the Group F, which will be stepping in tomorrow itself. But then for teams like that stepped in, just like CarpeDiem and Team Limra, they were not able to get a lot done.
Team Forever as well as Gujarat Tigers playing just one game, still not being able to grab those extra points. That means all the teams that are going to be in Group F, they will have a good opportunity to quickly move up forward in front of them. So as you've already mentioned, it's going to be pretty messy, and even just one frag or one finish can actually help you move forward so far up in that leaderboard. It just seems that you need one squad wipe out to get those 8 points in the power play.
I mean, FS, known as the third-party kings, we know what they can make happen, especially in the stage 1. It matters a lot. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, the day 1 of the opening week comes to an end. We'll see you guys tomorrow.
Interesting,
right? I guess we got to talk a little bit more. And especially knowing the fact that Group F, once again, is going to be stepping in. As I mentioned, FS Esports, they're definitely going to be forced to be reckoned with. Even Team Tumulus, a team that likes to start things off really slow. Just like Team 8-Bit, are we going to see that change in the pace?
I really want to see those pace changes coming in from both these teams, and I want to see how aggressive they can get.
Well, you know what, with that being said, we'll see you guys tomorrow. Now it's time to take a leave.
Gentlemen, welcome back to a new season of daily BGMI action. This time, with even more competition. This time, with even more comedy. With a lot more jaw-dropping moments. And also a few that many would want to forget. And for the first time ever, enjoy BGMI Master Series with Android. Welcome back to the biggest ever BGMI Carnival on national TV.